I am here. I have arrived. Welcome, Waffle. Congrats on first. Welcome, Elise. Oh god, no hentai of Koenig, please. Welcome, Sue Rented. Good to see you. But yeah, we're gonna do some Higurashi today, for shits. So let me, game capture. Yeah, since I'm by myself today, I'll be doing, I'll let the in-game voices play for the characters, and I'll do the narration. But yeah, let's go ahead and start. Load. Oh, damn it, Waffle. Okay. There you go, Waffle. Hope you're happy. Oh my god, you had to get that in. Oh, Waffle. For a moment, I forgot the class president was me.
起立！委員長も少し寝不足みたいですね。最近は寝苦しい夜が続きます。でも、しっかりと睡眠はとるように。いいですね、皆さん。はーい！
I'm not sure this place can be called school. Oh yeah, you better be happy, Waffle. Because there's so many different age groups. It's like a kindergarten and an elementary school blended together. Since I'd heard about it, what this place was like, I didn't feel that comfortable. It wasn't too difficult to act like me on here. As Sis told me, Satoshi-kun looked exhausted. I said hi to him, but he ignored me. Since I knew what he'd been going through, his pain looked apparent to me. I was interested in another person in his classroom. Satoko, Satoshi-kun's little sister. She looked as worn out as Satoshi-kun, emotionless like an abandoned doll. Everybody in this room was aware of the circumstances, but no one could do anything for them. So they just acted as though nothing was wrong. Mion will only let me have this one day. If I slacked off even a little bit, today would be over with quickly. I had to figure out what I should do in this limited time. I should probably talk to Satoshi-kun. About what? Anything goes. Cheer him up, sympathize with him, anything will do. Yeah, Satoko is, yeah. She's pretty damn quiet. More than anything, I just wanted to chat with him. However, Sis had told me. She said Satoshi-kun didn't communicate much with her lately, and had distanced himself from her. I figured I shouldn't talk to him too casually. I wanted to, but maybe it was better to leave him alone. I needed to keep Sis's warnings in mind. But instead, I decided to ignore them. I looked for Satoshi-kun during lunch break. He was walking as if looking for a place where he could be alone. I caught him in the hallway.
Satoshi-kun!
He turned around, startled by my voice. His facial expression surprised me. He was scowling, clearly a sign of rejection. But I couldn't hesitate. I'd lose my only chance if I did.
さ、元気？
He gave me a look as if saying, "Do I look fine to you?" I never expected to see an expression like that on his face. I felt like my heart was being torn into pieces. As I looked down, he spoke to me. I felt a little glad, but the next thing he said changed that.
元気だよ。他に用はないなら行くよ。昼休みは一人になりたいんだ。
そっか。バイトが大変なんだよね。疲れてるから一人になって休みたいもんね。今日もなんでしょ？今日はどこで？
Just had found several jobs for him. He worked at a few different places. He was helping out when necessary at any of the shops that Mion introduced him to. Oh fuck. Penguin made her give it away for free? What? What? Oh. Haha. Shit. That's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. You know that at least? As a result, he constantly had to do different tasks in different environment almost every time. On top of that, he requested high-paying jobs from Mion because he wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. In other words, he chose to do mostly of manual labor. He was exhausted every day because he wasn't that physically strong.
どこでもいいだろう。それに、僕がどこで働くか、ミオンなら知ってることじゃないのかい？
Mion did help him get the job, yet Satoshi-kun didn't look thankful for that opportunity. This wasn't like him at all. It made me feel sad.
そうだよね。ごめん。
要はそれで終わりかい？
He sounded so harsh. How was he being like that? Would he ever stroke my head again? I couldn't help my tears. They flowed onto my cheeks. Satoshi-kun looked confused for a moment, but then he frowned again.
ごめん。監督がさ、また練習に来てほしいなって言ってたよ。監
督には戻る気はないし。
たまにはさ、パッと体を動かして汗を流すのもいいと思うんだよ。
Oh my god. Oh, you've been saving for that for a while, huh, Rented? Ugh. Good time. DMC strike, woohoo! Haven't gotten DMCA'd yet for that. I guess it's too short of a clip to fucking DMCA me.
ほら、スポーツっていろいろと。
興味ない。
I didn't know why he was being so hostile towards me. Why did he hate me so much? I was left bewildered.
なんで？どうして？
バイトで忙しいから。めんどくさい。
違うよ。なんで私がここまで嫌われなくちゃならないの？
自分の胸に聞けばいいじゃないか。
自分の胸に？何を？私が何をしたの？わかんないよ、サトシくん。
Oh shit. I couldn't control my emotions any longer. Streaks of tears ran down my cheeks. Uh-oh. Toshi-kun gave me a hateful glare and walked away without saying another word. Fuck. I couldn't even stop him. If I tried, he'd hurt me again with another cutting remark. I couldn't bear that. So I just watched him walk away. I wiped my tears and went back to the classroom. I heard somebody crying from inside. What's going on? I looked around the room to see. It was Satoko. I saw her bento box on the floor. I asked one of her classmates what happened, and it seemed that Satoko had bumped into somebody's shoulder when she stood up to go wash the box out. That was all. But Satoko was crying as if afraid she was going to be chided badly. What happened was very minor. She could just pick up the bento box and things would be fine. Still have 3.7k, that's no damn Rented. It looked like the lid came a little loose, but it was definitely fixable. She didn't have to cry like that. Yet Satoko started begging through her tears.
助けてよ。助けてよ。
Oh, poor Satoko. Because of what happened with Satoshi-kun, I couldn't suppress my emotions very well. So instead they exploded. What the fuck? I stormed up to Satoko while elbowing her classmates aside. I grabbed her by the head, then threw her into the wall? What? Satoko screamed. She didn't seem to understand what had happened. She was shedding tears and shivering. You must be wondering why I did that? What the fuck?
なんであんたがそういう目に遭うか理解できる
Shion, what the fuck?
助けてニーニ
Satoko cried for her brother's help again. And so I grabbed her head and threw her again? Satoko stumbled and crashed into a desk. The desk fell and the contents of the drawer scattered about. God damn! Shion, what the fuck? Satoko didn't even stand up. She just crouched and trembled while looking up at me.
助けて助けてニーニーニーニーあんたがそんなだから
If you weren't like that, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer, don't you get it? That's what I wanted to say, but I was too angry to utter another word. I picked up a bunch of textbooks from the floor and threw them at her face? What?
泣きたければ泣けばいいでもね泣いたってね何も解決しないなんで泣くの泣けば誰かが助けてくれるからその助けてくれる人があんたの代わりにどれだけ傷ついてるかなんて想像もつかないでしょ分かってるのあんたの罪があんたなんかいなければいい苦しいなら死ねへそでも噛んで勝手に死んじゃえばいいサトシ君まで苦しめるな一人で苦しんで一人で勝手に死ね
Is this actually happening, or is she just fucking tripping the fuck out? She's lost her fucking mind.
お前なんか死んでしまえ
Her desperate cries only increased my irritation.
泣けばいいと思うなサトシ君にすがれば済むと思うな甘えるんじゃないお前さえいなければお前さえいなければ
I kept on throwing things at her. Toko curled up to protect herself and cried even harder. At that point, a girl with long hair ran up and huddled over her. I knew who that was. Rike Furude. One of Satoko's only friends. Wow. Just starts beating the shit out of this girl and the only Rika stops her. God damn, Shion.
サトコをいじめないでなのですサトコはかわいそうなのですいじめてはダメなのです
Please don't hurt her.
かわいそうだから何をしても許されると思ってるかわいそうだからサトシ君に寄りかかってもいいわけ甘やかしてるんじゃないよこいつがどこまでも甘えてるからサトシ君が辛い思いをしなくちゃならないんだ
You're blaming a young girl for seeking refuge from abusive fucking caretakers. Shion, what?
ダメなのですサトコをいじめちゃダメなのです
Rika also became the target of my anger.
私はねその甘えきったサトコの根性を教育してやってんだよ邪魔しやがるとあんたの頭から叩き割るよ
I grabbed a chair and lifted it over my head. It wouldn't hurt only a little that I threw this thing at them. Rika tightly closed her eyes and covered Satoko with her body. I didn't care what the consequences would be. I didn't care if I hurt them. Shion, what?
やめてみーちゃん
Rena returned to the classroom and shouted at me. Then Satoshi-kun rushed in while pushing Rena aside. Seemed to have grasped the situation immediately. He charged straight at me. Until my body hit the locker, I didn't understand what had happened. There was a loud crashing noise. I'd left a dent in it. I crouched there in pain.
サトコ大丈夫かサトコニーニーニーニー
Satoko pushed Rika aside, jumped her up at her brother, and started crying again.
どうしたんだよ。どうして聡子が
私ね、何もしてないのにミオンさんが
どういうことだよ、ミオン。
Satoshi-kun shouted at me while clutching his sister. He looked fierce.
どういうことって。
どこが何をしたよ。僕たちが何をしたよ。なんでいつもいじめられなきゃならないんだよ。どうしてだよ。
He released Satoko and rushed up to me, grabbing me by the neck.
さっきサトシ君は私に自分の胸に聞けって言ったよね。ならサトコの胸に聞いてみりゃいいじゃない。
何を。
サトシ君だって自分で認めてるんでしょ。サトコがあんたにべったり頼ってるからサトシ君の重荷になってるんでしょ。
I hope fucking Satoshi's fucking pounds her right now, Jesus. Manera is dying ice, I might not be here much longer. Oh, it's all good, Cold Club. I'm sorry to hear about that, man. We could finish Shion. Fucking beat Shion's ass.
サトコがもっとしっかりしてればサトシ君がこんなに大変な思いをすることなんてない。そいつが全ての元凶なの。
Yeah, the young helpless girl is to blame. I don't believe what I said was wrong. But after hearing it, Satoshi-kun went berserk.
こいついい加減なこと言うんじゃない。
Satoshi grabbed my hair and threw me to the wall just like I did to Satoko. Well, Shion, you fucking deserve it. However, I wasn't going to back down. I no longer had any control over my emotions at all.
サトシ君だってサトコを甘やかしすぎてるよ。あんたがそうやって際限なく甘やかすからそいつはいつまで経ってもあんたにすがってばかりなんだよ。
お前に僕たちの何がわかる。何がわかるってんだよ。当然や母さんを村ぐるみで追い詰めて散々いじめて、そして今度は僕たちか。それがその崎家のやり方なんだろ。どこまでも村の裏切り者をいじめ抜く。そんなに楽しいかよ。弱い者いじめがそんなに楽しいかよ。
Oh, it's because the Sonozakis did not like Satoko and Satoshi's parents because they supported the dam project. So they fucking persecuted the shit out of them. And they just happened to die by accident after the Watanagashi. And then these two got sent to their aunt and uncle, who are very abusive at because they hate them. Because they were ostracized and now they're getting shit for it. A big fucking mess. The Sonozakis are fucking to blame for it. Give Satoshi a knife, might as well.
もうやめて。
That was Rena's voice. She stepped in, looking as fierce as a demon.
サトシ君、もうやめてあげて。みーちゃんに悪気はなかった。サトシ君の力になってあげたくて、その気持ちがちょっとずれて空回りしちゃっただけ。
He just lost control a little, abusing his younger sister.
ね。
No, that's... No. Toshi-kun looked like he wanted to say something back, but he chose not to.
みーちゃんももうやめて。みーちゃんが誰よりもサトシ君のことを心配してるのは知ってる。だけれど、こんなやり方はそれの解決にはならない。そんなのちょっと落ち着いて考えればわかることだよね。
Can't solve the problem by fucking abusing his younger sister. Intentions don't matter when she's abusing a fucking child. Yeah, what the fuck? Since Satoshi-kun didn't say anything, I kept quiet too.
ほら、さとこちゃんもお弁当箱を落としたくらいで泣くことはないよ。ね？落ち着いた？さとこ、僕がお弁当箱を拾ってあげますよ。
Rika started picking up the bento box while its owner continued to cry.
みんな、片付けを手伝ってくれる？もうすぐ先生がカレー菜園から戻ってくる頃だよ。これでもう喧嘩は終わったから、先生には余計なことは言わない。いいね。
Classmates looked at each other and nodded, then started picking up the stuff off the floor. Oh?
はい。
Think Shion got off easy? Pretty fucking easy off this shit, Jesus. Satoshi should have destroyed the walls with Shion's skull? Yeah, definitely. But she got off easy.
サトシくんもみーちゃんも仲直りの握手。ほら。
Rena, no, Rena, you're not Jesus, okay? Rena, you can't just make problems go away like Jesus can. Just step in and say everything's fine. It doesn't work like that.
ごめん。こんなつもりじゃ
I didn't mean to
な
do
かったのに。
Yeah, you did, Shion. What the fuck? Tears started to roll down my cheeks again.
僕も悪かった。僕たちがいじめられてるのは大人の都合で、ミオンとは何も関係ないって
Yeah, they do.
知ってるはずなのに。
Yeah, they do. They ostracize the shit out of the fucking Hojos, man.
ごめん。
さ
Oh my god.
あ、みーちゃんは次にさとこちゃんに謝る。はい。
I was fine with apologizing to Sakoshi-kun, but I didn't want to apologize to her. Shion, fuck you! Damn, I liked Shion, too! This is just fucking terrible. Oh my god. The situation wouldn't be settled otherwise, so I reluctantly apologized. Satoko nodded, looking discouraged. After that, Rena let me go. My head ached, so I held it with both hands. Jesus, what was that? What did I do? I didn't want to use this precious time to fight. Sis had warned me. She told me that I shouldn't talk to Satoshi-kun just like that. Oh no, you stupid fucking Shion. God damn it, Shion. What did I come here for? I shouldn't have come here if I knew this was going to happen. Your fucking fault, Shion. Stupid, you're stupid, Shion. Yes, you are. I was overcome by emotions because I was so worried about Satoshi-kun. When did things go wrong? Were they wrong from the beginning? I got into a fight with Satoshi-kun. This was totally the opposite of what I wanted. Yeah. I regretted it. Thank you for the alert, Cold Peb. I hated myself for it. I couldn't blame myself enough. My world had been torn apart. I wished the sky would fall and kill me. Yeah, I like Shion too, and this is just fucking terrible. This just ruins the character for me. God damn, Shion, that's stupid. This just sounded both amazed and confused.
ただでさえ綿流しの直前でいろいろと忙しいってのに。
Did you tell her you abused Satoko? As Mion? Oh my god.
シオンは話をさらにややこしくしてくれるな。
More complicated is an understatement.
ごめん。
Oh, I'm sorry for abusing a young girl. Just tried to say something, but she stopped in the middle. After listening to a few complaints, I started telling her about everything that happened today. This had to pretend that the trouble I caused today was her responsibility, which must be very taxing for her. Yeah! Yeah! Because now she gets the blame for abusing a young girl.
もう当分は入れ替わる機会はない。
For a while? How about never?
シオン、あんた、 ちょっとは私の迷惑を考えてほしい
Oh
な。
my god, she's putting it so lightly. I just rat Shion out for our Mion. No one fucking needs to be blamed for herself in the third grade. Yeah, this is getting frustrating actually.
それはうん
That's just how they are in Japan, is it? Or they're like they just soften the blow of everything all the time. They just fucking try to be all modest about things. Like, this is frustrating. This had been sympathetic, but maybe I pushed her too far this time. You think? Of course she'd be hesitant to trade spots considering what I did today. Yeah! Duh! The atmosphere felt awkward, so we were both silent for a while.
仮にさ、もう一回機会があったとして、シオンはどうするの？
I'll probably abuse Satoko some more, huh? That was a reasonable question. I wasn't prepared to answer, though. If I had a chance to go to the school once again and see Satoshi-kun, what would I do? Would I apologize to him about today? I don't think that would work. That might even upset him again, no matter how hard I tried. You abused his younger sister! Gion, you're so stupid! Okay, here's something that he was saying. It was the Sonozaki family who had been harassing his. It would only be natural for him to hold a grudge against this. But why was he only expressing that now? I've been a Sonozaki to him all along. Satoshi-kun stroked my head even though he knew I was Mion Sonozaki.
おねえ率直なところサトシ君は園崎家を恨んでるんだよね。
だと思う。
It was our family that initiated the persecution of the Hojo family, making them into scapegoats because they supported the dam project, which the government would pay people if they supported the dam project. So the Hojos probably needed some fucking money. So I mean, they really got to give them shit for that. Trying to keep the lights on, but. Even after the dam conflict, it wasn't easy for the Hojo family to live in Hinamizawa. Given all of that, it's not surprising that Satoshi-kun hates us. The Sonozaki family who put his family in a devastating situation, yeah.
でもさだったらなんで今頃になってなの？なんで今頃になってこうなるの？それなら
If he had rejected me in the first place, I wouldn't have wanted to get close to him. My tears wet my cheeks. I didn't bother to wipe them. Elitist classism and abuse, yep. That's the fucking village of Hinamizawa. It's only natural for him to hold a grudge against the Sonozakis. There's nothing unusual about it. Rather, why has he been treating me like a friend? I knew how stupid this question was.
サトシが大人だったからとしか言えないと思う。
He was mature?
そんなのってひどいよ。
You've been treating me as a friend because he was mature? But now he'd become stressed mentally and physically, he's decided to reject me. You fucking abused his younger sister. How stupid are you, Shion? God damn it. You beat up his little sister, yes. You're part. Oh my god. I liked Shion so much before this too. This is all bad. No matter how hard I thought about it, I couldn't find anything to fault him with. Because he's not at fault for anything. There was somebody to blame. It'd be somebody I'd never accused before, like yourself?
なんであいつはサトシ君の一家をいじめようって言い出したわけ？
Why did she decide to pursue?
ダムに賛成したのはサトシ君の親でしょ？サトシ君が賛成していたわけじゃないでしょ？なんで一家丸ごといじめようって話になったの？どうしてよ？
Mion couldn't say anything in return. Actually, it wasn't at all hard to guess the reason. The hag didn't give any specific order to harass the Hojo family. She just thought the Hojo family was getting in the way. The people around her noticed what was bothering her and took steps to get rid of it. Though, of course, she must have known how influential her own words were, yeah? She didn't just think it, she gave what she must have known would be interpreted as an order. She's the one to blame for initiating the attack on the Hojo family.
前にお姉はフルデの神主さんのことを輪を乱すのは大人じゃないみたいなことを言いましたよね。
Oh, by mature she meant like compliant. Oh my god.
つまりこれもそういうわけ。村中が団結しなきゃならない時に異を唱える北条家は大人じゃなかったと。
Mature means compliant to them, I guess. Mature is not the same meaning as that fucking.
だから制裁する必要があったと。そういうわけなんでしょ？
Yon couldn't say anything in return, meaning that my accusation was the truth.
なら制裁は北条の親だけで十分じゃない。
Mature in the sense of Japanese community nonsense. Is that what they... Mature means compliant. Or like... obeying the rules that are established by whatever fucking society. Oh my god. It's the America in me says fuck that.
本家の秘密部屋にでも連れ込んで指の一本も跳ねてやったらいい。でもそこまでで十分でしょ？サトシ君は関係ない。サトシ君には何の関係もない。
Chop the parents' fingers off, but leave Satoshi. She only cares about Satoshi and that's it. Doesn't give a shit about anything else. Shion is just getting worse every fucking line.
サトシ君が何をしたっていうの？サトシ君に何の罪があるっていうの？答えてよ。答えてよ、ミヨン。ミヨン。
はい。ではよろしくお願いいたしますね。失礼いたします。
Mion suddenly changed her tone and hung up. She must have done that to escape from my questions. I was furious. I started redialing the number, but then I remembered that we decided she'd hang up the phone after using that phrase when she saw the hag coming. I doubted she actually saw the hag, but it was the rule, so I couldn't call back for a while. I went to the bathroom to wash my face and cool down. I turned the faucet, the water felt lukewarm. It didn't help me cool down at all. I'm disgusted by my own childishness. I just wanted to fill the void. I didn't care about him. Considering that Satoshi-kun was very generous, but I don't know if I can forgive Satoko. That's a different story. Have you ever had a character that you really liked, and all of a sudden you fucking despise them? Has that ever happened to you, Elise? Or anybody in chat? I don't think this has happened to me, and I can't remember if this has happened to me before. Doesn't understand that he might like his yeah. Oh my god. I can't remember the last time something like this has happened where I loved a character and then they just went to shit. Oh man, I think there's probably been something like that. I just can't remember it. It's been so long. I was looking at the ceiling with my arms and legs spread out. It's not that I wasn't getting hungry. But only characters I was like waifu over. Not that I liked the character on a character level. Oh, okay. Well, Shion was... I liked her personality on top of her being hot as fuck. I liked her personality too. But this is just awful right here. I didn't live with my parents. I didn't live in the school dorm. That means I had to cook something myself when I wanted to eat. I knew that, but I still didn't feel like getting up. It had been several days since I began this empty life. It must be tomorrow. The Watanagashi festival, I mean. I heard the doorbell ringing. I ignored it at first, but it rung persistently. I started hearing knocking alongside Kasai's rude voice.
シオンさん、いらっしゃるなら開けてください。弁当を買ってきました。
Ooh, I like this voice actor. I don't remember his name, but he's got like the deep Japanese voice. I like him. Okay, you do that. I didn't ask him to. He must have known that I hadn't eaten and that I'd been feeling down lately.
やはり食事を取られていませんでしたか。
別にお腹が空いてるわけじゃないし。
But when Kasai put the food on the table, my stomach reacted in a very primitive way by making some noise.
ほら、お腹が鳴っている。食べた方がいいですよ。
I was hungry, but had no appetite. I mean, I did have an appetite, but didn't have the energy to eat. Yet I'd feel bad wasting the food Kasai had brought. I picked up my chopsticks just to humor him.
最近はばあさんがマークしてるんじゃなかったの？私のとこなんかに来て大丈夫なわけ？
お涼さんは綿流しの打ち合わせなどでお忙しく、シオンさんのことまでは最近は頭が回らないようでしたので。
Who is this voice actor? I have to know. Fumihiku Tachiki. Yeah, I love this guy's voice. Fumihiku Tachiki. Oh, dude's like same height as me. 60 years old, fuck.
クリームコロッケは好物ではありませんでしたか？
うん。美味しいです。ありがとう。
While I nibbled on the food, Kasai read through the magazines I brought.
葛西は、うん。
I never talked to Kasai about something like this before. Since I've already believed myself to be him superior to him psychologically, I hesitated to show my weakness to him.
そういう悩みも年頃にしておくのは悪いもんじゃありませんよ。
葛西、あんた全部知ってる？
ミオンさんから少々力になってほしいと頼まれました。
お姉か。
心配しておられましたよ、ミオンさん。
And back with a root beer and a leftover double-double. That sounds delicious. Without responding, I threw the last croquette in my mouth.
北条聡君の近況を知りたがっていると思いまして、少し情報を集めてきましたが、余計なお世話でしたか？
余計なお世話です。でも、せっかく集めてきた葛西の顔を立てるために、まあ一応聞いておきます。
Kasai chuckled, but stopped quickly as if thinking it rude.
北条哲平が家を出たらしいです。
Teppei Hojo fled the premises, fuck the uncle.
沖宮に実婚の関係の女性がいまして、そこへ転げ込んだようです。
哲平？誰？ああ、聡くんのおじか。
家には、叔母の北条玉江と北条聡、聡子の3人となりました。
Oh, Teppei. Teppei, that piece of shit's no better than the aunt. Can't have a story taking place in Japanese small town without croquettes. I guess so.
玉江は、哲平が別の女性のところへ逃げたのだと気づき、大層機嫌を悪くしたらしいですね。
So of course she has to take it out on the kids. What a fucking terrible aunt.
ってことはあれだ。ますます叔母の里子いびりが加速して、聡くんもそれのとばっちりで、ますますに苦労してるってことか。
Still fucking blaming Satoko. Stupid fucking Shion. You blame the aunt. Not fucking Satoko. God damn it, Shion.
聡くんの方はわかりませんが、聡子さんの方は近所でも噂になるくらい、決して良くはない状況です。
If Satoko looks miserable, that means Satoshi-kun must be going through equally miserable torture.
その叔母って、なんとかならないの？憎き北条家の片割れなわけだから、 園崎本家で制裁しちゃおうって話にはなってないの？
He's also one of the remaining Hojos after all. The uncle is gone, so why not the aunt?
園崎本家としては、北条夫妻の事故死で一応のけじめがついたので、北条関連では一切手を出すなと言命が出ています。夫妻の事故死を疑う警察が、北条家近辺を未だマークしているという噂がありますので。
事故死はお社様のたたりってことになってるからね。神罰が下ったんなら、それ以上は人間が下すまでもないってこと。
So the Sonozakis are pulling the strings and saying it's Orishiro-sama, it seems. Looks like we are onto that, huh? Outside put on a faint smile. Come to think of it, it is hard not to suspect the involvement of the Sonozaki family in all the incidents said to be Orishiro-sama's curse. Somebody strives to get rid of the hag's concerns on the day of the Watanagashi festival. Furthermore, the Watanagashi festival is going to be held tomorrow. Will the curse strike again this year? If so, who will be the victim? Now that I think about it, there were cases of multiple victims in the past. The first and third year, it was just one, but the second year, the victims were a couple. So it wouldn't be too strange if two people fell victim this year. It seems like a good time. It'd be best for Satoko and her aunt to be the victims. Jesus, Shion, what the fuck? Oh my god, Shion! So stupid! Satoshi-kun will be freed from every source of worries all at once. It's the aunt that's the problem. Shion, it's not Satoko. You're stupid.
Kasai.
God.
今年のお社様のたたりの犠牲者は誰かって、もう決まってるの？決めるのはばあさん？ならお姉は、明日の犠牲者をもう知ってるってことになるな。どうなの、笠井？何か聞かされてる？
シオンさん、私はその件については一切聞かされていません。
まあ、そりゃそうか。笠井ごときの耳に本家の最高機密が入るわけもないか。
そういうことです。少なくとも私の関係する界隈では、そういう話は降りてきていません。ですが、ご存知の通り、本家は裏の世界の方々に通じます。私にはその一部を垣間見ることも叶いません。
Maybe I could try asking Sis about it, but she won't talk. She's strict about keeping promises, unlike me. If the hag told her to keep a secret, she'd take it to the grave.
今年の綿流しで、おばとさとこが消えちまえばいいのにな。笠井、私は憂慮したよ。気を利かせてくれると嬉しいんですけど。
シオンさん、ご冗談を。
わーってるって。言ってみただけだって。
Just trying to get that to happen. Oh my god! I took a glimpse at Kasai. It didn't look like he was actually going to do something to make my wish come true. No, because it's fucking stupid of you to say shit. Oh my... I wasn't able to go to the villages myself, so I definitely wasn't going to the festival. I didn't care about that. Even so, I was interested in who was going to end up as the victim of the curse. If I just kept lying on the couch, playing hooky, somebody would fall victim in several hours. I had no clue why it had to happen every year, but I was certain that the hag was behind it. All the enemies from the dam conflict have been punished. Only the Hojo couple was left, since most of the other enemies had already gone. Oh, okay, so this curse was made to punish people of the dam project. Oh no! The Sonozaki set this shit up just for that? Cicadas were crying loudly outside and made me feel hot. Why was it this hot and humid in June? If Orishiro-sama was actually punishing people, I'd pray for one thing. I'd pray that the evil aunt would be punished. And I'd offer up Satoko as a sacrifice. Shion, stop. 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 Can we just get Shion to stop? Can I push F in the chat to make Shion stop? Oh my... Oh, 1 second, I gotta go take a piss and get some water. I'll be right back, folks. Okay, we're back. Jesus. Fuck. I needed, I kinda had like an aneurysm, I guess, from how stupid fucking Shion was being. Jesus Christ. I'd pray the evil one would be punished after Satoko as a sacrifice. Ha. It's hot. Yeah, Shion, hope you fucking melt and die. Jesus Christ. When I woke up, Kasai had already gone. Looks like he cleaned the table in the surrounding room. I put my dirty laundry into the hamper in front of the washing machine, too. Being a girl of a sensitive age, I didn't want a man to clean my room. Well, I'd rather thank him than badmouth him. I looked at the clock. It was late afternoon. I had to go grocery shopping. There was nothing left in the fridge. And I'm having just rice for dinner if I didn't go. At that moment, the phone rang. It must be Kasai, I thought. I did hope it was him. He could have brought more food, so then I wouldn't have to go grocery shopping. While I was just being lazy. I didn't feel like going out at all. But it wasn't Kasai on the phone.
おねえ、そこ、どこ？本家じゃない？
あ、うん。公衆電話からかけてる。だから手短に話すよ。サトシから電話が来たんだよ。
サトシ君が？お姉に？
多分、私にじゃないと思う。
Yeah, probably the girl that was fucking beating his little sister.
シオンにだと思う。
It's like, hey, why did you abuse my fucking little sister? Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
サトシは先日の教室での件を謝りたがってるみたいだった。
He wanted to... Jesus Christ.
だから、その電話はシオンが受けた方がいいと思って。サトシの電話は、今ちょっと忙しいからすぐかけ直すって言って切ってあるの。だからシオンは、今から私が言う電話番号に電話してあげて。
うん、わかった。
I was stunned for a second, but then recovered and wrote down the number on the back of a magazine. Of a magazine.
ありがとう。すぐに電話します。
そうしてあげて。サトシは最近、すごく追い詰められてるの。私の声はもう届かないみたいだけど、シオンの声なら、ひょっとすると届くかもしれないって、何の根拠もなく思ってる。
You could have pretended to be me and handled this call. But you passed it over to me.
ありがとう。ミオ。
じゃあね、シオン。
Before she hung up, I put the headset down. Then, after a second, I dialed the number in a flash. I heard the dial tone. 3 times. 4 times. And there he was.
北条です。
He sounded like an adult. His voice sounded a bit tired, too. But it definitely was the voice I loved. I got scared. I was scared that he might become sulky again if I mentioned my name. I couldn't open my mouth for a while.
サトシ君ですよね。
さっきはごめん。もう時間は大丈夫なの？
That was the Satoshi-kun I knew. He didn't sound cold like the other day.
うん。
Wow, he's forgiving you for abusing his sister.
全然平気です。
After that, he went silent. I felt the urge to start a conversation. It wasn't fair. He was the one who called in the first place. Then, he finally spoke.
先日はごめん。
私こそごめんなさいです。
ミオンは謝らなくていいよ。僕がどうかしてた。
If this were a face-to-face conversation, he would be stroking my head. It was sad just talking to him over the phone. God damn it, Shion.
僕たちをここまで追い込んだ奴らを 謝ろうと思って。
How about her apologizing for abusing Satoko?
気にしないで。私だってサトシ君のことをよく理解しようともせず無神経だった。
We apologized to each other a few times.
それよりサトシ君大丈夫？いろいろと大変なのにサトコの誕生日プレゼントのためにアルバイトまでして。
He was not alright. Why are you asking him this?
だいぶ追い詰められてるんじゃない？
もうバイトはやめたよ。目標額のお金はなんとか貯められたみたいだからね。
そうなんだ。ならもう体を無理させなくていいんですね。本当によかった。
Toshi-kun tried to say something, but he dropped it instead.
僕よりサトコの方が辛い。
サトコ大変なことになっていますね。大丈夫なんですか？
あれが大丈夫なように見えるのかよ。
Really? Really? Leon, what the fuck? He suddenly sounded upset. I'd messed up. Yeah, you did.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
I was so stupid. Yes, you are, Shion. Can I kill Shion? I'd let you. I wouldn't stop you. I had ruined this miraculous conversation with him. Cause you're fucking fuck. Satoshi-kun didn't respond to my apology, so I stopped apologizing.
あんなに誰が見てもわかるくらいに傷ついてボロボロで、みんな見捨てた。どこ見捨てた。
This is getting kind of personal for me because I feel the same way about my younger sister. I love her to death and I never want anything bad to come to her. And we had some not so great parents growing up, so this is kind of hitting a little too close to home for me, personally.
見捨てたつもりなんて。
I tried to calm him down. I hated what I just said because of how hollow it sounded. Because you're fucking hollow, Shion. I had no idea what to say next. I felt guilty. Satoshi-kun was desperate to protect Satoko from their evil aunt. But I wish that Satoko would die tomorrow because of the curse. Oh, Shion, you're just barely realizing how fucking terrible you are. I was trampling on his desperate hope by abusing his little sister.
サトコはもう擦り切れる直前なんだ。だから。
He cut himself off in the middle, and went quiet for a moment. He must have been choosing his words carefully. Then he finally spoke. His words sounded hollow.
だからせめて一夜くらい遊ばせ。
遊ばせるって。
ほら、明日は綿流しのお祭りじゃないか。サトコを祭りに連れ出してやってほしいんだ。
Satoshi, why would you trust her with Satoko?
それは構わないけど、どうして？
サトコもいろいろと参ってる。たとえ一夜でもおばさんのいないところで羽を伸ばせたならきっと喜ぶと思うんだ。
だからどうして？
どうしてって。
Not that I didn't understand why he wanted her taken to the festival. What I didn't understand is why he was asking me to do that. Satoshi's gonna... He's gonna do a little something something with the bat. That'll bat from baseball. What I didn't understand is why he was asking me to do that. Was there any reason he couldn't take care of her there himself? I had a hunch he might disappear, so I kept asking.
どうしてって何がだい？
どうしてサトシ君が自分で連れて行ってあげないの？
He fell silent. Toshi-kun isn't good at lying or keeping secrets. It was clear that he wanted to hide something.
用事だよ。僕、明日はちょっとバイトの関係で用事があって、どうしても祭りには行けないんだ。
he was lying. But he was also stubborn. He wouldn't admit it if I accused him.
ねえミオン、明日の夜だけサトコを頼めないかな。
Wouldn't want to look after Satoko. Even at Satoshi-kun's request. Beyond, you're still fucking horrible. But I'm also glad that he's relying on me.
あれだけの暴言をぶつけて、それを謝るついでに
Yes, it is.
こんなことを頼むなんて悪いことだとは思ってるけど。
I know it's ridiculous to ask you to help after that incident where you abused my sister by taking care of my sister.
ミオンだけが頼りなんだ。
I didn't know what to say. I did know, though, that I wasn't going to turn down his request.
うん。わかった。明日の晩だけだよ。
できたら明日の晩だけじゃなく、これからもずっとがいいな。
何言ってるんですか？そんなの嫌です。明日だけですからね。
It sounded as if he were going to disappear tomorrow. I didn't like the sound of that, so I intentionally sounded sulky. We talked about trivial stuff for just a little while. When the conversation was almost over, Satoshi-kun asked something else.
ねえミオン、こんなことを話すときっと精神的に病んでるって思われるんで、本当は嫌なんだけど。
ん？どうしたんですか？
ミオンは信じないよね。
何をですか？
ほら、お社様のたたり。
サトシ君、何の話ですか？
お社様は確かほら、村を捨てて逃げ出そうとするとたたるでしょ。
That's the rule. Every kid in the village knows that.
どうしたんです？突然。村を捨てて逃げようとでもしてるんですか？
I was kidding. I wanted him to deny it.
もうそんな気はないんだ。もう。
He admitted that he had thought of it. I guess Rena told me that much.
いいじゃないですか。もうそんな気がないのなら。
でも、まだ許してもらえないんだ。
え？
Yoshi-kun tried to say something but hesitated. He was breathing so heavily. Was he sick?
具合悪いの？
ごめん。
サトシ君は少し頑張りすぎたから少し休んだ方がいいです。
Sounded distinctly more sickly from when this conversation had started. He breathed heavily when punctuating his words. Satoshi-kun repeated his question.
ミオン、最初の質問を。ミオンはお社様のたたりって存在すると思うかい？
What did he want me to say? Did I make him feel relieved with my answer? How should I respond? The answer was simple.
たたりなんてあるわけないじゃないですか。
I didn't know what was bothering him, but I wanted to make him feel better by laughing his worries away. But Satoshi-kun instead fell silent. Would my answer make him happy, or maybe sad? I couldn't tell. One thing was certain, I didn't make him feel any better.
変なことを聞いてごめん。
ごめん。
I felt like I let him down, so I apologized in a rush.
たたりだろうと、この村の何者かの陰謀だろうと、僕は絶対に消えない。消されない。
消えないよ、サトシ君。
消えないよ、サトコに。あのぬいぐるみを買ってやるまではね。もうすぐお給料がもらえることになってる。その日までは絶対に消えない。
He chuckled. He was trying to relieve me, but it worked the opposite way. It sounded as though he didn't care what would happen after he bought the teddy bear.
おばさんが帰ってきたからもう切るよ。
うん。
ミオン、
何？
Even though he wanted to hang up the phone because of his aunt coming back, Satoshi-kun took a breath to tell me something important.
さとこのこと頼むからね。
I should have said yes right away, but I still couldn't foresee Satoko. God, Shion, fuck you. So I just kept quiet.
変なこと頼んでごめん。じゃあ。
He was obviously disappointed. What had I done? I wanted to apologize. I wished I could, but it was too late. The diatone left no doubt. Now that was depressing. Shion just won't stop being a piece of shit. She won't stop. She just keeps getting worse. And worse and worse and worse. Few new tips. A torn diary. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me that I was going to be the victim of the curse this year. So I'm going to disappear soon. There'll be nobody left to care for Satoko. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me that I don't have much time. That I won't stay as myself for much longer. So I had to make the best of the days I had left. What could I leave for Satoko? He wanted that huge teddy bear. He wanted a peaceful life in which nobody would bully her. I whispered to that person at my back. Bestow your violent nature and formidable strength upon me. I want your peaceful mind, filled with hatred. Wow, that was fucking Satoshi. What the f- Hey, you were Satoshi and Satoko live a nice life and Shion gets brutally murdered. Yeah. Shion just keeps getting worse. It's fucking stupid. And Satoshi just realized he's gonna be the victim of the curse this year. So he wants to go out with a bang and kill the aunt. Alright. The day of the Watanagashi Festival. June 20th, 1982, 1:40 p.m. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. I had a light headache, so I lay down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I'd already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko. I didn't have to do anything myself. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. Hopefully she has like fucking brain cancer or some shit. Oh god damn it, kitten. Hey EA, I'm doing well, how are you, man? Just chilling and reading some more Higurashi. I hope you're happy for Dead Kitten. Also, Kitten, you were the top gifter for this week, so you still need to pick a game, I believe. Or did you already? I forget. I forget shit. I forget if you picked one or not this week. I know you did last week. Let me check. I don't think you did. You gotta pick a game, buddy. I have so many games. Do you want me to give it to somebody else? I can just give it to somebody else if you want. Yeah. That would be all I'd have to deal with. June 20th, 1982, 5:02 p.m. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-dam activists. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute. But people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her. And so, she decided to hate them back. Wait, what's going on? So, basically what happened is... Where are we now? We're about to have the Watanagashi Festival. And this is back a year before the main story starts. And so, Satoko's aunt and uncle are the focus of what's going on right now, I guess. And Satoko's uncle fled town, so it's just her aunt that's taking care of Satoko and Satoshi, and the aunt is ostracized because her brother-in-law was a supporter of the dam activists, and she's all going crazy now, thinking everybody hates her. Basically. Her attitude, of course. We got hatred from the villagers. And the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. What came first? Their poor relationships with the neighbors. Or her husband's affair. She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. She, in turn, claimed that the relationships with the neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged her reputation. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened at almost the same time. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce, their marriage being as rotten as it was. But he secretly knew the reason for that too. It was the fortune his parents had left. His aunt had hidden their bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband access to them. So her husband would search the house for them. He'd find out he stole some money from her purse. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money because his family had been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the dam project. It was, his parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. Oh, fuck. After someone from some financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. That's fucked up. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor their aunt treated the two siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship, so if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Did I miss part of this? Hello, Rented. Ugh. Rehydrate. Satoshi had thought that at first. But even after they separated, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must have been talking behind her back. It was mortifying and embarrassing. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her, turning a key eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in their aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. Tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace. Oh, fuck. That shit just doesn't work, man. Damn, what a room looks like mine if I want some paranoid about messy rooms. Yeah, I need to clean my room. It looks kind of filthy. But you couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Toko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. That shit doesn't work, man. In a house where people hate each other, you can't really... Not with a family like that. Toshi had found something in the trash. It probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come and pick it up. He passed by the street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk, of the kind likely to be seen in offices. Somebody must have dumped it within the past few days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. He'd had Satoshi help bring a chest home just a few days ago. Fucking hoarders, man. Fucking hoarders. If he told her aunt about the desk, she'd want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers, so she'd always open them to check before carrying the things home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew where it was to begin with. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. Wait, did I space out? Oh, it's bat. You put that down. Fuck. June 20th, 1982, 5:51 p.m. Fuck, he's setting up his fucking murder spot right there. Shit. These games, when it comes to the black screen, just makes me expect a jump scare or something. Yeah. There was kind of... Well, not really. Jump scares don't really happen in this. Like, sometimes it'll transition to some, like, psycho person's face, but that's it. Yeah, I haven't really had a jump scare in this yet. Nothing like that.
Hey, 親父! 今年も来たね。また根こそぎかっさらってくから覚悟しときなよ。
いやその先のお嬢ちゃんは今年も元気がいいな。あ、そっちの子は新顔かい？
ふふ、この子はね、竜宮レナ。
Halfway there? What? Yeah, there's voice acting now. Well, I turned it on. Whenever I have someone voicing with me, I turn it off. But since it's just me today, I have the character voices on. I just read the narration. 7 out of 15k. Aw, shit, Elise.
こう見えてても結構やるよ。
そんなことないよ。よろしくお願いしますね。
おう、こっちこそよろしくな。今年もいろいろ景品を持ってきたんだぜ。もちろん真剣勝負だ。根こそぎ持ってけるもんなら持ってけってんだ。
レナは可愛いものには目がないのですよ。
ああ、あのぬいぐるみとそっちのぬいぐるみはレナの好みだね。
かいいね。お持ち帰り。
ダメだよ。まだ準備中だよ。おい。
レナ、ダメダメ。まだ準備中だってさ。ちゃんと回転したら根こそぎさらってやりな。
もうダメだよ。 お持ち帰り。
Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everybody laughed. Everybody except Satoko. She was standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Eyes looked dull.
なんなんですの、リカ。
Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up.
今日は何も考えなくていいのですよ。いっぱい楽しく過ごしましょうなのです。
Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change.
さとこ、意地悪なおばさんは、今日はお祭りには、そんなことは分かってますわ。なら、いっぱい笑って、いっぱい楽しくなるのですよ。にぱー。にぱー。にぱー。あいにくですけど、そういう気分になれませんの。
Voice acting in Japanese, the one thing my brain can't handle? Really? Why is that, EA? Meep. Meep.
申し訳ございませんけど、放っといてくださいませ。どうして、さとこは笑いませんですか？
Toko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. Gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. No matter how fun the festival was, when she went home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would hear. How can she have fun, even for just today, while knowing all that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika.
ではさとこの辛いのが今日でおしまいになるなら、さとこは笑ってくれますですか？
Satoko gasped. She thought that Rika might do something to help. But soon after, she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. But her suffering end today? Because of Rika? How? Satoko knew that there was really nothing Rika could do. And so, after just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again.
リカ、くだらない気休めは聞きたくないですわ。さとこ。
Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before.
もう決まっていることなのです。
Who's the narrator now? Just disembodied voice? Yeah, I think so. I don't think, Gianna's doing the monologue right now. Like, the gasps at the end are just unnecessary. That makes me just... The gasps at the end? You mean the way they're voicing these lines? It's already been decided. June 20th, 1982, 8:11 p.m. Toshi stuck out the window after supper. He heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Watanagashi ceremony, there was going to be a raffle drawing. So there were two types of people in Hinamizawa. The people who would go home for dinner, and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There are only those two patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Toshi knew it was going to be like this, but he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell. All his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance. If only went then crouching like an animal. It felt strange, as though he'd stepped into another world. He'd been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. but now he felt as though he had metamorphosized into a different person. June 20th, 1982, 8:37 p.m.
それではお楽しみ抽選会の説明をこれより始めますのでどうぞ皆さん櫓の周りにお集まりくださいな
God damn, this guy's loud. The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Both the women were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people to the festival. At first, the prizes were things committee members had donated, but Oryu, fuck, I keep saying the name wrong, but Oryu, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had them thrown away. Oryu took the initiative and brought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. Oryu was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so this might be the very first and last raffle.
お嬢さんのおかげで本当なすんばらしい商品になったね。だいぶかかったんじゃないの？運営費で立て替えするよ。
すったらんな程度で立て替えなんてアホらしい。銭金の問題じゃないんね。たく。
まあまあそう言わないで。
All the boomers getting together, shit. Ooh, I want the washing machine. Yeah, I probably would too. The washing machine more than the TV? Shit.
お嬢さんのおかげでできた抽選会なんだから。
こんな私一人でどうにかすりゃええんちゅうわけとちゃいねや。パホクサ。
The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was having a tough time pacifying Oryu. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into a tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody probably got hurt in an accident.
どうしたの牧野さん。そんなに息を弾ませたら心臓が破れちゃうよ。
Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day there was bad news.
お嬢さん、悪い話なんだけどいいかい？
Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Oryu's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered her the exact same words that Makino told him. Yeah, who needs TV when you can enjoy the sight of a washing machine? Spinning, spinning, spinning. Yeah, that's pretty entertaining. Fuck yeah. I'd watch that all day.
いやはや、参ったよな。
参るも参らんもなんね。3度あっちゃんは4度あるっちゅうこっちゃな。
お嬢さん、そりゃ笑えないや。
面白い話でもなんでもなぎゃ。面倒が増えただけっちゃね。
These two talking makes me feel older as fuck, man. Jesus.
警察が今身元を調べてるらしい。どうも相当顔面をやられてるらしくて、身元の特定が難しそうなんだと。
顔がわからんでも。
え？心当たりがあるのかい？
Oryu glared at Kiyoshi and started chuckling.
バーカが。綿流しの祭りにも顔を見せん。ちゃんとお社様を敬って祭りに来ちょるんは。そんな目には合わなんとよ。
Oryu kept laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. June 20th, 1982, 9:04 p.m.
しか
かしこりゃ無残なもんっすね。
クマちゃん、死に方ってのは本人が望んだものでない限りお悔やみ申し上げちゃいますよ。そっちどう？ポッケの中身とか個人が特定できそうなものは？
The forensic investigators shook their heads.
サンダル履きで服装もラフ。近くにお住まいの方でしょうね。服装の特徴から周辺に聞き込みをすればすぐに割れそうっすね。
それしかないな。課長からこの山一区捜査してかかりそうだからって脅されてます。その辺注意してくださいよ。
了解っす。
Magi gathered some officers and gave them directions.
入江先生が到着しました。先生、あそこです。
The young doctor got out of his car and headed in the victim's direction.
どうも。遅れて申し訳ありません。抽選会の手伝いの最中だったもので。
先生、今日の祭りでだいぶ飲んでたでしょう。アルコール本当に抜けてます？後で風船でも膨らましてもらっちゃおうかな。
ご安心を。運転はスタッフに代わってもらってますので。
そりゃそつがない。おい、先生通してあげて。
There was an area cordoned off with blue plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi and Ide pass. The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood splatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabetized plates.
こういうものは見慣れませんね。
Ide took out a handkerchief and covered his nose.
匂いがダメな時は口呼吸にするんですよ。まあこういう匂いは目でも嗅げちゃうかな。ね。
The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman that was soaked in blood. I wonder who it is. It looked like a middle-aged woman because of her hair and that she was wearing. The reason why no one was certain it was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized.
ひどい。
十中八九怨恨の線でしょうな。血痕とサンダル裏から見てここで殺したのは間違いないでしょう。でも見ての通りここは人通りが少ないと言ったって往来のど真ん中です。ここで頭部がひしゃげるまで殴り続けたってのはちょいとまともな話じゃないですからね。
Yeah.
でね、ほら腕とか見てみてください。
Oishi put a latex glove and lifted the corpse's arm.
腕は綺麗なもんでしょ
う。それはつまり腕で防いだとか抵抗したとかそういう痕跡がないという意味ですね。
さすが高学歴。仏さんはおそらく最初の一撃で脳震盪かなんかで気絶したんじゃないかと思うんです。で、星は確実に殺した手応えを得るためにさらに打撃を加えた。さらに言えば仏さんはその時うつ伏せに倒れたように思うんですよね。ねえ、服の汚れ具合からの勘ですが。
遺体は仰向けですね。
星は後頭部を散々潰して明らかに頭蓋骨が砕けてる手応えを得ているにもかかわらずわざわざ顔面を潰してるんじゃないかと思うんですよ。
It looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Oishi's reasoning.
遺体の顔面を殴るってのは私の経験じゃかなり怨恨の線が強いです。それもだいぶ濃厚なってことはつまり星は仏のかなり近辺にいるのは間違いないかと。
私を呼んだのが救命活動ではないということはよくわかりました。
先生、この人が誰かわかりますかね。わかれば聞き込みの手間がだいぶ省けるんですがね。
Ide looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then, after a while, Ide left the investigation area without saying anything.
すみません。私には分かりかねます。
本当に？
Oishi smirked and looked into Iride's eyes, as though Ide was hiding something.
別に隠してなんかいません。
先生もアルコールがまだ抜けきってないだけですよ。頭が冴えたら思い出すかもしれません。思い出したら教えてくださいね。
Oishi tapped Ide on the back. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagi returned.
おいさん、課長から無線です。1号車の無線っす。
イリアの先生、ごまかしたな。いえ、こっちの話。仏の聞き込み急いでください。ほぼ間違いなくこの近くにお住まいです。
June 20th, 1982, 9:39 p.m.
おいさん、連れてきました。
どうもどうも。
Alright, Elise. Hope you feel better later. Sorry that it's an off day.
こんな夜更けに申し訳ありませんね。
After all that bullshit from Shion, I can't blame you for feeling off. Jesus.
明日も学校なのに本当に申し訳ないです。
いえ。
Uh-oh.
お父さんはどちらへ？
うちの寄付はあまり帰ってきませんので。
おお。いつ頃から？最後に帰ってきたのはいつ？
さあ。義母と喧嘩しているのを聞く限りは、沖宮でどこかのキャバレーの人と同棲してるとかなんとか。
I had a dream about my childhood home. Oh shit. Dreams can fuck with you, man. I've had some of those.
最後に会ったのはあまり覚えてないんですけど、先々週。
お父さんの連絡先はわかります？
いえ。
キャバレーの人と同居してるって言いましたよね。なんてお店かわかります？
いえ、沖宮のどこかにあるとしか知りません。
お父さんの名前は？
北条哲平です。
Oishi signaled Kumagi with his chin, who nodded while taking notes.
お父さんとお母さんはあまり仲良くなかったですか？
程度の度合いはわかりませんが、良くはなかったと思います。
率直に聞いて申し訳ないですけど、お母さんに恨みを持っていた人間とか知っていたら教えてほしいんですがね。
よくわからないです。
そうですか。じゃあもしも思い出したらでいいので、その時は教えてくださいね。これ私の名刺です。ここに電話番号ありますので。
はい。
じゃあ後日またいろいろとお話を伺うこともあるかもしれません。もしもお父さんと連絡がつきましたら、沖宮警察署の大石まで至急ご連絡をとお伝えください。くまちゃん、北条さんを自宅まで送ってあげてください。
いえ。一人で帰れますから。
いえ、そんなこと言わずにぜひ送らせてくださいな。お母さんを襲った犯人がまだ近くにいる可能性があるんですよ。あなたもまた狙われない保証なんてないんですからね。
お気遣いありがとうございます。 でも本当に結構ですね。
Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but Oishi and Kumagi insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept. He turned around to leave, when Oishi spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say.
北条さん。
はい。
大丈夫ですよ。心配しないでください。犯人はすぐに捕まりますよ。
手がかりとかあるんですか？
ええ、ありますよ。
どんなですか？
捜査上の秘密ですよ。ね。
Ordinary people might think that Oishi was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a joke. Hey, what's up, Lily? Yeah, today I'm solo reading. And I'm just letting the characters voice themselves for now. I just do the narration.
いいえね。人を殺すってのはかなり感情の高ぶるもんなんですよ。そりゃ、冷静に殺してみせるロボットみたいなのも稀にいますがね。
感情が高ぶると何か。
うん。人は極限まで感情が高ぶるといろいろ体に反応が出ます。発汗とか脱毛とかね。殺人現場に犯人の毛髪が落ちているってことは割とあることなんですよ。まあここは屋外ですからね。現場が絨毯の上ってのとはだいぶ勝手が違いますが。
犯人の毛髪は拾えたんですか？
さあね。鑑識の連中が大列組んでさっきから行ったり来たりしていろいろ探してます。まだ結果待ちでね。
If you need someone, I'm down sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, you ever want to voice with me, Lily, let me know. I can't do female voices for shit, so I always like having a woman help me. One of my female friends helped me, so.
何が出るやら今から楽しみですよ。
明日があるので今夜はもう帰ります。
そうなさってください。クマちゃん、送ってあげてください。
So fucking Oishi told him that just to psych him out. Be like, hey, you sometimes find hair and shit at the scene of the crime. He just did that to fucking psych him out. Damn, Oishi.
了解っす。
では北条さん、また近いうちに進展があったらお知らせしますよ。北条さんも何か思い出したりしたらぜひ教えてくださいね。
Thanks, Lily. So damn sweet and supportive, thank you. Right now it's kind of like meditation, zen for me to read. Sit back and enjoy the story. It's kind of cool. I like it.
「憎き母の仇の逮捕に協力してまいりましょう。」
Oishi's so good at psyching people out like that. Like, yeah, we'll work together and catch who's killed your stepmother. No way it could be you, right? Fucking Oishi. You always get distracted reading VNs? How many of you read, at least? Aw, thanks, Lily. You're too damn sweet. You're too sweet for the world, Lily! Just called the morning after the Watanagashi festival to tell me that the curse had struck again for the fourth time. The victim was the evil aunt who was harassing Satoshi-kun and Satoko. Satoshi-kun's suffering should be over now, since the problem was with Satoko and the aunt's relationship to begin with. Maybe I should have celebrated. But I wasn't in the mood for some reason.
犯人ってもう警察は目星をつけてるのかな。
Just went quiet when I asked that.
さあね、大石の野郎がしつこく聞き込みをして回ってるみたい。犯人は近しい人間に違いないと思ってるようだね。
Being identical twins, Sis and I think very much alike. Their only stepmother killer around here is Index. Uh-oh. You a stepmother killer? I started Steins Gate 1, but I didn't even get to the branching path part. Oh, dang. Steins Gate would be more immersive than this, I think, if you have branching paths. Steins Gate starts very slow. Yeah, the anime did too. It took a while to get good. The characters just fuck around a lot in the beginning, and then the story doesn't kick in till later. I think it's like 13 episodes in the Steins Gate anime to when shit actually starts happening. Very fucking slow start. If I suspected Satoshi-kun being the murderer, so would she. Because of this, I didn't have to mention the obvious.
サトシ君って祭りの日にアリバイあります？
ああ、どうだろう。
I don't think he does.
はあ、
I heaved a huge sigh.
バカですね。サトシ君は祭りに来ていた。そういうことでいいじゃないですか。
そうだよね。気が利かなくてごめん。
Branching paths are based on side choices, not the ones directly in the dialogue. Oh shit. That's kind of complex sounding. Fuck. I heaved another sigh. Sis was stupid enough to forget to make an alibi for him, even though the murder of his aunt alone would raise enough suspicion. Oh shit, it's the Sonozakis that plot all this. They pretty much confirmed that.
じゃあ、
Steins Gates, yeah.
やっぱり、サトシが？
サトシ君が殺したかどうかが問題じゃないでしょ。サトシ君が犯行の時間帯にアリバイがあったかが重要なんです。ったく。
後で警察がうちに来るみたいだから、来たらサトシは祭りで一緒だったって言うよ。
お姉、取ってつけた嘘なんか何の役にも立たないです。何も手を打たなかったなら、今さら小細工しても無駄ってことです。せいぜい正直に喋ってください。お姉は芝居が下手なんだから、変に意識するとかえって勘ぐられますからね。
ごめん。
She sounded depressed. I was the one who should have been depressed. Mion usually handles things well, but she's not too good with emergencies. I was left worried for the future of the Sonozaki family. Mion must have been embarrassed. She soon changed the subject.
シオン、最近はあまりバイトに行けてなかったでしょ。
ご検察痛み入ります。おかげさまで。
ごめん。今日は私、夜まで姿を隠してるから、バイトに出られるんじゃない？
This had been appearing in public places during festival preparations and whatnot. As a result, I hadn't been able to pretend to be here. I hadn't been able to work. As someone who had to support myself, it was a bit of a pain. To be honest, I didn't feel like working. But I couldn't afford to be sitting around either. When I locked my apartment door before leaving, the door to the next apartment now opened. Next apartment opened and Kasai appeared. There.
シオンさん、お出かけですか？
そんなとこです。お姉が姿を隠してくれるそうなんで、久々にバイトに出ます。葛西、暇だったらおじさんの店まで車を出してもらってもいい？
シオンさん、しばらくはバイトを控えられた方がよろしくはないですか？事件のせいで警察は園崎家界隈を監視しているようですし、あまり姿を表に出さない方がいいのではないかと思います。
お気遣いは嬉しいけど、バイトしないと食費もないわけですし。
Kasai might suggest he donate money to my cause. However, I'd sworn to myself when I started living here I wouldn't depend on Kasai. While I didn't obey anyone else's rules, I stick to my own. Kasai could tell I was adamant in my decision. So, after repeating himself a couple of times as a formal procedure, he decided to give me a ride after all. Blanket is good, like how the Shrine Maiden's dad lets him dress in Miko. Always good to see supportive parents in the game. Yeah? Yeah, the Shrine Maiden was a trans woman, I think? I don't remember. A femboy or something like that? Every time we went to the uncle's store by car, stopped at the traffic light. I knew it was going to happen again, but it still irritated me. Pedestrians passed by in front of the car. I was starting to see that one of them looked like Satoshi-kun. It was him. Though I'd spoken with him on the phone just a couple days before, it had been a while since I saw him last.
葛西、悪いけどおじさんに、やっぱ今日のバイトは行けなくなったって伝えてくれる？私、ここで降ります。
え？シオンさん。
Outside looked taken aback, but I got out of the car regardless. The light turned green. The car behind him honked while Kasai was shouting at me, so he had to start moving. Satoshi was on his bike. He was going really slowly. I caught up with him in a flash and tapped him on the back.
ハロロー。沖宮で会うなんて奇遇ですね、サトシ君。
If I talked to him with a smile, he might smile back. So I smiled as brightly as I could.
ミオン。
Yeah, born male, wanted to be female, but Japan's not great on trans people, so he lives as a femboy in the main timeline. Yeah, I remember. It's been a while since I saw the anime, but I remember that plot point. He looked tired as always, but as I could tell, he was trying to smile back. My worries suddenly disappeared. I was certain I looked happy. I was aware of that myself, so it must have been obvious to Satoshi-kun.
何があったか知らないけど、ミオンが楽しそうだね。
ええ、楽しいですよ。サトシ君の機嫌が良さそうなので、私も釣られて機嫌が良くなっただけです。
When I teased him, he looked a bit embarrassed. It was like we were back in the good old days. I felt even happier than before.
サトシ君こそ、何か機嫌が良くなるようないいことがありましたか？
いいことなんかないよ。おばさんが亡くなって、警察とかご近所とか、いろいろ大変だよ。
I might have asked something dumb. He seemed to be okay with it, though. He'd frowned a bit at first, but Satoshi-kun continued smiling gently. He looked worn out, but satisfied, like he'd accomplished something great, like killing his aunt. That was the mood I sensed from him. So I was convinced. The one who killed their wicked aunt, who tormented Satoko, was him. I had absolutely no proof, but I knew it intuitively. So I omitted all those questions. I knew Satoshi-kun's motive for killing his aunt and how badly he was driven to a corner. I knew the environment and the situation he was in. And I knew Satoshi-kun's feelings. I knew all of that. So I omitted all those questions. I wanted to celebrate his release from that curse, so I smiled like nothing was different as I asked.
サトシ君はどこかへお出かけですか？あ、バイトかな？
正解。その前に寄り道なんだけどね。
寄り道？
毎日ちゃんとショーケースにあるのを確認しないとなんだか不安で。
Still there, your baseball bat, you mean? The conversation reminded me. The reason he started his part-time job was to buy Satoko a huge teddy bear. It was being sold at the toy store just down the street. I recalled that the teddy bear was very expensive. Satoko's birthday was right after the festival. I wasn't sure what day, though. Wait, didn't he say he quit his job? Maybe he was going to his ex-coworkers and clean out his locker or something. Either way, he'd be completely free very soon. Maybe he hadn't paid yet. That's why I wanted to check if they still had the teddy bear. Maybe he was only getting paid on Satoko's birthday. When we got near the toy store, he rushed to the display window. He looked relieved that it hadn't been sold yet.
よかったよかった。大丈夫。ちゃんとあるよ。
買えるだけのお金は稼げてるわけですよね。なら予約とかしちゃえばいいのに。
もう。
You probably hadn't thought of that. He really did need someone to look after him. I looked in the display window over his shoulder. The teddy bear wasn't that cute, in my opinion. It looked huge and cramped in the middle of the store's showcase. Really, it looked more like a display model than an item for sale.
値札がついてないけど、これ本当に売り物なんですか？これ一体いくらするんです？
売り物なのは確認したから間違い。
値段は？予算は大丈夫？
大丈夫だよ。ちゃんと確認してあるよ。
Satoshi-kun thought I was teasing him again. He pouted and looked a little sulky.
予算が大丈夫なら予約しちゃいましょう。その方がサトシくんも心の荷が下りていいでしょうしね。
We entered the store and looked for a clerk.
誰もいないのかな。
そりゃ好都合です。サトシくん、お給料日を待たずにぬいぐるみが手に入るかもですね。
ダメだよミオン。泥棒はいけないよ。
冗談ですって。軽く受け流してほしかったんだけどな。ひょっとして私が盗人の真似を平気でできる女だと思ってます？
I wouldn't put that past you, Shion, you fucking psycho fucking bitch. Man, I hate fucking Shion right now.
ごめん。
Toshi-kun smiled apologetically. I puffed up my cheeks to tease him. It had really been a while since the last time we did this. In between those times, many undesirable things happened that I wanted to forget. But now I felt as though those things simply vanished into the air around us. I found an old person napping in the back. He must be the clerk, I thought. He looked to be fast asleep.
お店の方ですよね。
I poked his shoulder, but he didn't look like he was going to wake up. When I did that, a middle-aged woman wearing an apron came in.
おじいちゃん、店番頼んだのにすっかり眠りしちゃった。お客さん来てるってのにもうごめんなさいね。うちのおじいちゃんももうすっかりボケちゃって。
The middle-aged woman shook the old man awake and told him to go back to the living room. He went to crash the cash register after that.
お恥ずかしいところ見せちゃってごめんなさいね。何かお買い上げ？
買うんじゃなくて予約なんですけど、いいですか？あのショーケースの中の一番大きいぬいぐるみなんですけど。
あれ？いいの？値札見た？かなり高いけどお小遣い。
はい、ギリギリ足りるはずです。
もうすぐバイトのお給料が入るそうなので、それまで予約したいんですけど。
The woman looked a bit hesitant at first, but she eventually wrote down Satoshi-kun's name and accepted the reservation. Satoshi-kun received a slip of paper.
ね、これでもう誰かに先に買われちゃう心配はもう必要ありません。
うん。お給料がもらえるのはもうすぐなんだけどね。これで安心できる。
He would have kept coming back to check every day if he hadn't done this now. He would have spent this time needlessly worrying. Satoshi-kun looked very relieved indeed.
これならもっと早くに予約をしていればよかったな。
普通の人は欲しいと思ったら即予約します。そういう思考に至らないサトシ君はちょいと希少です。
So very fun to tease him. Those painful days seem unbelievable now. Toshi-kun looked like he'd forgotten everything that happened up until yesterday.
でもありがとう。
Toshi-kun held out his hand to touch my head. Was he going to stroke it? I felt my face reddening already. Stroked that head. Even before he touched my head. Oh heck, what happened? But Logos, thank you for the host, man. How you doing? Good to see you, buddy. I didn't care about the murder or whatever else happened. As long as Satoshi-kun had his freedom, everything would be alright. I'd be content as long as we could live happily from today onward. but Satoshi-kun's hand never reached my head. I slowly opened my eyes, only to realize that the situation had drastically changed. Uh-oh. There were 4 men in suits blocking our way. It looked as though they had been waiting for us to exit the toy store.
どうもどうも。
Uh-oh.
ふんふんふんふんふん。
The oldest of the 4 men stepped forward while smirking. I'm doing alright, how are you, Penguin? I'm doing great. I'm just chilling, meditating tonight, hanging out. Feels pretty nice. Just reading through some of this chapter, hopefully getting to the climax. Right now, Oishi looks like he's gonna arrest Satoshi, probably. I'd never met this man, but it looked like he knew both Mion and Satoshi-kun. He's probably a cop. Who would have guessed? I ran a search for information in my head. Legos. Yeah. Did you like Legos, Legos? I love them. Oh, stretch. Free stretch, everybody. Farted. Oops.
「こんにちは。北条さん、園崎さん。いい雰囲気だったところを邪魔しちゃって実に申し訳ないです。」
This must be Kurado Oishi, the cop who is investigating the series of mysterious deaths. He thinks that the Sonozaki family is behind all of the cases. In other words, he's an enemy of the Sonozaki family. He has deep connection with other investigation divisions in the police force, and likes to nose around the business in this area. He annoys the Sonozaki family enough as it is by interfering with its Yakuza business, let alone his suspicions on the series of mysterious deaths. Naturally, as the family's successor, he's not a welcome figure to Theon Sonozaki. I tried to imagine how Sissa would react. With contempt.
ありゃあ、大石さんですか。お仕事ご苦労様です。大の大人が4人も揃って、おもちゃ屋さんに何かご用で？
Y'all wanna buy something from the toy store, right, police officers?
まさかお人形さん買いに来たってわけでもあるまいに。
You want a Barbie doll? I know what they want, and it's not a toy. It's probably not me, either. They want Satoshi-kun. I took a look at Satoshi-kun. He seemed a bit uncomfortable. No shit. The other 3 cops loosely surrounded us to prevent our escape.
北条さん、実はですね、ちょいと伺いたいお話がありまして。
何それ？任意同行ってやつ？サトシ君、こんなのに付き合う必要ないよ。行こう。
I pushed on his shoulder, but he just stood there, looking pale and bewildered. Got you, motherfucker. Toshi is fucked. Bewildered? No, he actually looked resigned. Then, I recalled Sis's mistake. It's obvious that he killed his aunt from the circumstances. You don't even have to look at the crime scene. How could Mion have failed to create an alibi? That stupid Mion must have spoken to the police without making anything up at all. She must have not told them that she knew where Satoshi-kun was. If she hadn't done anything, the villagers wouldn't work to help her. It was just a matter of time until the police uncovered Satoshi-kun's complete lack of an alibi. The police were trying to corner him and lead him to confess. I looked at Satoshi-kun's face once again. He looked like a dead man. He probably didn't know he could refuse to be interrogated. If he was taken to the station and grilled by Oishi, he'd confess in a minute. Somebody had to protect him. Nobody had ever been there for him. I had to step up now. But how? Would it be possible to alter what Mion had already told him, saying it was a mistake? That wasn't going to work. If I had more time, I'd come up with an excellent idea. But I didn't have that much time at all. The pressure on the cops were drawing nearer. Toshi-kun must have felt intimidated. He might end up turning himself in due to the pressure when I'm stuck trying to come up with something. I have to do something now. I have to say something. Otherwise, Satoshi-kun might give in. I have to save him. Oishi drew nearer. Satoshi-kun fell back. Uh-oh.
大して時間は取らせませんから。そんな怖がらないでください。
It won't take much time. He just said it. He just said he wouldn't let him out if he caught him now. Satoshi-kun, don't give in. If you give in now, everything you've been working for will be ruined. Satoshi-kun looked like he was at his breaking point. Oishi was clearly aware of it. Oishi smirked and held out his arm to grab Satoshi-kun's shoulder. I felt electrified when I saw that. That hand shouldn't be allowed to touch Satoshi-kun. The moment Oishi touched his shoulder, he'd give in. He had to go to the police station and confess everything.
サトシ君にアリバイがあるか知りたいわけですよね。
Oishi turned his face toward me, his hand left hanging in the air. I wasn't very prepared for this. I just had to stop Oishi, no matter what. I only needed to gain some time. It didn't really matter what I said.
そうですよ。北条聡さんのアリバイが知りたいんです。私たちの捜査がまずいからなのかな。犯行の時間帯にどうしても北条さんのアリバイが見つけられないんですよ。仕方ないから恥を忍んでご本人に直接そのあたりをお伺いしようかと思いましてね。
そんなの本人に聞く必要ないです。私がアリバイ証明しますから。
ありゃ、そりゃ本当。なら助かるな。あの晩園崎さんが神社にいてお祭りの最後まで過ごしていたことはすでにあなたからも聞いている。そのあなたがそこで北条さんとも一緒だったと言ってくれるなら。でもあんた以前そのあたりをお聞きしたとき北条さんのことは一言も言ってませんよね。実はいましてって今頃おっしゃるおつもりで。祭り会場の誰一人北条さんを見ていないのにあなただけは見ていたとそうおっしゃるおつもりで。
そうです。私と一緒にいました。それで十分です。
あなたが仲良しのお友達と終始一緒にいたのは分かっているし、私それでも一緒にいたとおっしゃるわけで。そいつはちょっと苦しくない？ん？
Oishi approached me with a creepy smile. Was he teasing me because my excuse sounded funny? I didn't think so. He was frustrated doing to be interrupted when he was about to catch a big fish.
祭り会場でずっと一緒に遊んでたのに、すっかり忘れてて今頃になって思い出したと、そうおっしゃるおつもり？園崎美音さん。
I did get a little scared, but I couldn't stop myself. I could save Satoshi-kun if I revealed my real identity. I was aware of the risk. Grandma would certainly capture me if I revealed it. I didn't think of the consequences after that. Uh-oh.
っていうか、私ミオンじゃないですし。
Uh-oh, here we go.
だからもともと綿流しになんか言ってません。
あ？
サトシ君とは綿流しの晩は沖宮のファミレスでずっとおしゃべりしてました。エンジェルモートって店ですので、どうぞ店長にも確認を取ってください。
Oishi was still smirking, but he apparently felt confused.
あんた何を言ってるの？あんたミオンじゃないなら誰なわけ？
園崎シオンです。
Uh-oh.
ミオンの双子の妹です。初めてお会いしますね。こんにちは。
Oishi looked perplexed, like he didn't believe what I'd said. He frowned.
園崎美音さんに双子の妹がいたなんて初めて知りましたよ。あんた大人をからかってんの？
からかってなんかないですよ。 どうぞ戸籍でも何でも調べてみてください。それともお姉を呼んで2人で並んでみせれば信じます？
All the cops look bewildered now.
園崎しおんさん？
はい、シオンですが何か？
あんたにもちょっと来てもらってもいいですかね。あんたが園崎しおんさんで北条さんと一緒におられたって言うんなら、あんたにも話を聞かせてもらいたいもんです。
ええ、望むところです。お手柔らかによろしくお願いいたします。
Oh, Shion. The cops gathered at their car and started discussing something. Looked like they never expected this to happen. I hope to be able to fake Satoshi-kun's alibi for at least a little while. It shouldn't be too difficult to talk to Sis after this, forge up an alibi together.
サトシ君、何を聞かれてもエンジェルモードで私とおしゃべりをして過ごしていたと言い張ってください。私が何とかしますから。何を聞かれてもよく覚えていないとか、サトシ君なら下手なことは言わず黙り込んだ方が無難かもです。
Satoshi-kun wore a startled expression. Though I was telling him something important, he'd apparently decided not to listen.
サトシ君、聞いてます？ここでしっかりしないと刑事たちの思うツボです。
He must have been feeling deceived. No wonder. I just confessed that I wasn't Mion, but her twin sister. I really had been deceiving him.
怒ってます？
なんで？
騙してて。
Josephine started laughing. I didn't know why he'd laugh. Because he wasn't the type of person who would laugh in order to hide something.
たまに教室のミオンと話が食い合わないことがあったから違和感は感じてたんだ。やっとわかったよ。
怒らないでくれるんですか？騙してたこと。
Toshi-kun looked puzzled. It was like he didn't know whether he should be upset about it or not. Or maybe he was not only pretending to be that way.
はじめまして。じゃないんだよね。
はい、そうなります。
そっか。シオンってどう書くの？
Just realizing all this time he was fucking Shion instead of Mion. That's funny.
詩を読むの詩に音でシオンです。
シオン。
ん？
いい名前だね。
じゃあお二人さん、すみませんが署までご同行願いますかね。粉末でよければコーヒーか紅茶かくらいは選べますよ。
Dun dun! Time to make an alibi. Oh, notebook page 29. Either Satoshi-kun was smart or very lucky. Or maybe it wasn't him. The police found nothing at the crime scene to indicate his involvement in the murder. Yet Satoshi-kun was still the prime suspect. Considering his home environment, he had a strong enough motive. He had no alibi. The police had everything other than physical evidence. It wasn't surprising that Oishi took a chance. He probably didn't expect me to step in, but what I did was too little to avert his suspicion of Satoshi-kun. Oishi believed that Satoshi-kun did it. He was waiting for Satoshi-kun to fall apart and confess. That's what both Oishi and I were thinking. But that hypothesis was destroyed later on. I'll not talk about it now, but Oishi's theory will be disproven and the police will be thrown into shock. A question comes to mind. That is, who saved Satoshi-kun? I can only think of the possibility that the Sonozaki family invented the culprit. They made a fucking fake. Made a fake murder. A fake murderer in place of him. Ugh. The cops were smart enough to separate us during questioning. Oishi didn't come to talk to me. His aim was Satoshi-kun and nobody else. I got a young cop who just talked about ordinary things. He must have been trying to ease me into the interrogation. When I realized that, the clumsy way he spoke began to frustrate me. Is Satoshi-kun alright? I don't think Oishi really brought my testimony. He must have been trying to get Satoshi-kun to confess in spite of that. All I could do was pray that he'd keep quiet. The phone on the desk rang, and the cop picked it up.
はい、熊谷です。はい？ああ、そうですか。わかりました。すぐに。
He hung up and told somebody had come to retrieve me. Looked like Satoshi-kun had to stay. Were they going to continue the interrogation just because he had nobody to pick him up? Although, maybe I should have been worrying more about myself. The hag had probably heard about me by now, since I revealed my real identity to the police. I couldn't hide any longer. I was going to receive some sort of punishment. I had no idea what she'd end up doing to me. The degree of punishment for a traitor is always severe in the world of the Sonozakis. The punishment must be carried out. If it's to protect the family's reputation, it's carried out no matter what. Maybe I should kiss my pinky finger while I still can. I asked the young cop just in case.
ねえねえ、アメリカなんかでよく死刑囚が死刑廃止の州で捕まると引き渡さないでくれるっていう話あるじゃないですか。
ん？
Maybe it was too difficult for him. He just looked puzzled. A glossy black car was waiting for me in front of the police station. A few men from my dad's office bowed to me.
シオンさん、ご無沙汰しております。
葛西は？
Asai had been helping me ever since my escape from the school. They wouldn't allow him to walk free.
お姉はどうしてるの？何か言ってる？
私たちはシオンさんを本家へお連れしろとしか言われていませんので。
Oh shit, she's in trouble now.
詳しくは本家でお尋ねになってください。
After saying that, he escorted me into the car. A man sat on either side of me. Obviously, they didn't want me to escape. Thinking of Satoshi-kun, I looked back at the police station. Hold on tight, Satoshi-kun. I'll grin and bear it too. The car started off roughly. It was never a good occasion when I went to this house. Except when Mion and I were really small, oblivious of what the Sonozaki name meant for us. I'd been here only when I had to attend boring family councils. The car parked behind the house. Raiders aren't allowed in through the main gate. I got out of the car, like Sis would be the only person to receive me. I almost spoke to her casually, but her cold gaze froze me before I could. Well, she's
お
probably...
久しぶりですね、シオン。
She's gotta be pissed.
新年以外に会えるとは思いませんでした。
It gave me the chills to hear her greet me in that cold manner.
ミヨン姉様こそ、ご機嫌うるわしゅうございます。新年以外にお顔が見れて、3問くらいの得を感じます。
I responded, trying to sound likewise.
当主は大変ご立腹ですよ。どう釈明されるか見ものです。私がするような釈明なんて別にないですし。
I had no excuse. I'd escaped from the school solely because I couldn't stand it there. That was all.
シオン、来なさい。皆待っています。
Mion escorted me and the others followed. We went to the garden, not into the house. As we passed through the huge yard in the woods, I realized where she was taking me. When we were little, we were never told to go near these woods. Oh shit, we're going to the fucking torture room. I had a vague idea of what was back of them. I'd heard there was a hidden entrance to the underground torture room, where they used to punish their enemies of the family. The more hideous rumors I heard about the family, the more credible those rumors seemed. Well, I wasn't completely certain about any of that. I never expected to see torture room for myself. We came to a concave clearing in the middle of the woods. I saw a metal door at the bottom of it. The door reminded me of a bomb shelter.
これが噂の地下実験室ってやつですね。
I was surprised to hear my own voice. My voice was trembling. It made me realize that I was more scared than I thought. Nobody answered my question. The very air felt tense. According to the family rules, one of the twins must be eliminated. Was I finally going to be eliminated? I realized I had been underestimating my punishment. I hadn't been aware of the real terror until now. I just thought I was. Beyond the still door, the air had an intimidating smell. This really was happening to me. I shouldn't allow myself to give in to fear. I feel like I was saying something rude, but my lips were dry, and my fingers were fidgeting. I was escorted through the narrow hallway and down a few sets of stairs. There, I saw a huge steel door. So, this was the place? It was spacious and utterly odd-looking room. The room had two sections that looked completely different. One side looked like a lounge. I saw several high-ranking members of the family council sitting on cushions there, looking expressionless. The other half was tiled, as if in a large public bath. The fuck? Is the BGM bugging out here, or is it just me? Fuck. That was already puzzling enough. And there were those things. To be honest, they'd captured my attention from the moment I arrived. I noticed them even before I saw the lounge and tiled space. I just didn't want to accept that they existed. I couldn't stand straight. Almost dropped to my knees. But I couldn't. Two young men had been holding me by the arm since I got there. There were oddly shaped things hanging from the wall. I was just refusing to recognize what they were. I knew exactly what they were called. I see. Understood that. Those eerily shaped objects were torture devices from hell. I hear a noise that sounds like something hanging by a rope. I think it's intended. Okay. It sounded like static. I was like, what the fuck?
だほがどの面下げて戻ってきた思うとっとと
The hag, sitting at the front of the lounge, intimidated me in a horrid voice. She kept cursing me for a little while, but she was so incensed that I could barely tell what she was saying. I knew that she was trying to say, though. The hag was willing to forgive my escape from the school, but once I revealed my identity to the police, she had to step in. Since I had disobeyed the family rule, she, as the leader, was forced to punish me. But moreover, there was one thing that bothered me more than anything else. The fact that I covered for Satoshi-kun. The Hojo family had been seen as traitors to the village ever since the dam conflict. Satoshi-kun still considered one of them. He couldn't accept that I was connected to him. To me, this was a bit unexpected. I'd escaped from the school the hag put me in. All the while, I'd believed that was what she'd be upset about. But in fact, she said that she was the most uncomfortable with my connection with Satoshi-kun. I couldn't believe this. Of course I knew that Satoshi-kun's family was persecuted for their betrayal, but I didn't think that Satoshi-kun was also burdened with that responsibility.
そんなのサトシ君関係ないじゃないですか。サトシ君の親はわかるとしてもサトシ君個人には何の責任もな。
Oh shit.
しゃあらしいわ。
Oh fuck. The hag interrupted me with a shout, which made me cower in fear. She continued slandering the Hojos and said that Satoshi-kun was a cursed child. I started feeling pissed off. What did he do to deserve this? What was he being blamed for? It was too late when I realized I'd said that out loud. The hag looked furious. I'd obviously upset her. I decided to repeat myself to make it very clear how I felt.
ばあさん、あんた何言ってんの？
Uh-oh.
黙って聞いてれば言いたい放題。
なんばねすったら口の利き。
やかましい！しまいまで聞きなよ、バカ野郎！
I shouted loudly to silence the hag.
だいたいあんたはサトシ君の何を知ってるの？サトシ君のことをよく知りもしないくせに、まるで彼を害虫みたいに言い捨てて、サトシ君がどんなにいい人か、彼が北条だからいけないの？バッカみたい！ 時代錯誤も甚だしい。園崎の私が北条のサトシ君と一緒にいたのがそんなにも不愉快なの？くったらないくったらないばっかみたい。こんな安っぽい色味釣りを自分で体験できるなんて思わなかったな。
My voice became hoarse from shouting. My face was messy with tears. Not even the O before the ba. Even so, I didn't feel like putting a stop to my emotional explosion. I was all too aware that I was going this just to overwhelm my fear. The hag was glaring at me while breathing heavily. I glared back at her fiercely as I could. Eventually, I realized that her sticking point was my relationship with Satoshi-kun. She wasn't only upset that I had a mere connection with him.
そっか。ミオンがそういう告げ口をしたわけか。
It was as though Mion was wearing a mask. He didn't budge under my penetrating glare. That was what the hag was really unhappy about. The fact that I was in love with Satoshi-kun.
確かに私、自分が園崎家だとか、サトシ君が北条家だとか、そんなの全然興味ないし、認めますよ、認めます。私は北条サトシ君が好きです。彼のことが大好きです。それっていけないこと？人が人を好きになるのに何か理由が必要？
I could see the relatives shaking their heads in turmoil. Among them, I saw my mom. She must have been trying to protect me. But even she wouldn't look at me. Instead, she looked silently at the floor.
後ろのあんたたちも聞こえてるでしょ？私おかしいこと言ってる？あんたたちだってサトシ君をよく知れば、彼がどんなに素敵な男の子で私が好きになるのがおかしくないことがすぐにわかる。なのになんで相手の人格も知ろうとしないで一方的に。
Mion held out a hand to silence me. Then, she slowly walked in my direction.
もう結構です、シオン。あなたの言い分と覚悟はよくわかりました。
Mion put her head close to mine and whispered.
シオンの覚悟はよくわかったよ。でもここまで言い切っちゃったら、シオンがけじめをつけてみせるしかない。けじめ？なんで私がなんでそんなバカな。シオン。
Mion's face turned cold again. He calmly told me.
あなたの言う個人の理屈は多分正しい。でもね、あなたも理解していると思うけど、ここはひなみ沢で、御三家の末席で、今や事実上のひなみ沢の筆頭家。そしてあなたは仮にも、園崎家次期当主である園崎美音の双子の妹。それが、
I interrupted her.
あんたとは、こっちに帰ってから、どうもそのあたりの話が食い合わないですね。大人の事情みたいなことばっか。ひなみ沢？園崎家？だから何？私はそんなの全然興味な。聞きなさい。
Mion interrupted me, just like I did her.
シオンは今日まで沖宮で生活するにあたって、どれだけの人の世話になってる？
Hill shot through my spine.
葛西さん、奥の牢屋にいる。なんで葛西が？
I knew why, of course. The moment I got caught, those who helped me were destined to meet the same fate. We were all subject to the punishment of betrayal. Maybe my punishment would be lighter than what they'd be going through. Kasai Knuckle Yoshiro must have been treated much worse than this. Everybody who helped me was falling victim.
シオンがどういう目にあっても、シオン本人は覚悟があるからいいだろうけど、お世話になった葛西さんや吉郎おじさんがどうなるかまでは考えが及ばない？
My head rapidly cooled down. My aggression was all used up. I should be able to bear whatever punishment they'd bring on me. But I resisted the fact that I've been putting the people who supported me at risk.
シオン、ばっちゃんに謝って、けじめをつけてみせれば、 シオン一人だけの話で全部済む。誰にも迷惑をかけない。でもミオン、私間違ったこと言った？そんなにも悪いことした？
The moment Mion learned that I wasn't willing to apologize, her expression turned cold again. She turned her back to me and returned to the lounge. I talked back to the hag in a really harsh manner. I told her that I didn't do anything wrong. Yet, I had involved many people who I loathed so much. Even without saying, this was my responsibility. It was the sole person to blame, and no fault lay with them. Yes, Kasai and Yoshiro-san were blameless, just as Satoshi-kun was. But then, as if she read my mind, Mion turned around and gave a slight nod. It was possible that something was going to happen to Satoshi-kun. On top of Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro. Oh shit. This can't happen. Satoshi-kun. I mean, nobody else should be punished. Please forgive them.
何ですか、シオン。
Tears rolled down my cheeks. I no longer cared about my pride.
ごめんなさい。私が間違っていました。許してください、当主様。
I should have said what the hag wanted to hear. Yet she still looked unsatisfied. Maybe that wasn't too surprising. I just announced her so badly in front of the relatives. She wouldn't forgive me so easily. Just then, Mion spoke as a successor.
ではシオン、どうやってけじめをつけるつもりです？けじめってどうすれば？
Nothing could be scarier than being told to pay up while standing next to horrid-looking torture devices. I was completely terrified. I couldn't move from trembling. Mion saw that and whispered to our grandmother. The hag nodded. Mion summoned some young minions and gave them an order. They removed one of the torture devices hanging on the wall, and then set a table in front of me and put the device on top of it.
何これ？爪を剥ぐための道具です。
Oh God.
使い方はわかります？わかるわけないでしょ。
I shook as I stared at the tool. It looked like a giant nail clipper. Probably put the part that looks like a beak between your finger and the fingernail, pulling them apart if you squeeze the handle. Chills ran up my spine when I imagined that. Shion, I don't feel bad for you at this point. I think karma's just biting you in the ass right now, Shion.
爪1枚ずつでシオンがかけた迷惑のそれぞれのけじめとします。園崎シオン、どの指でも構いません。自らの手で3枚の爪を剥がしてみせなさい。
3. One for Kasai, one for Uncle Yoshiro, and the last for Satoshi-kun. It was a fairly reasonable number.
本当にそれで他の人は許してくれるんですか？約束して。私がちゃんと自分の爪を剥げたら他のみんなは許すと約束して。これはあなたのけじめであって取引ではありませんよ。
It's hard because I hate this town, family, and cult, but I also hate Shion. Like, this is karma biting her in the ass right now, I see it. I can't really feel bad for her.
この方法が気に入らないならやるから待ってよ。やるから。
I put the device to my little finger while shaking badly. If my fingernail were shorter, it would have been harder. The metal beak captured my little finger beautifully. Subordinates stabilized my left hand with a different restraining tool. It seemed reasonable, because my finger would slip out if it weren't restrained like that. As my subordinate bucked up the leather straps, I realized that this was really happening, and there was no escape. Somewhere in my mind, I'd been thinking that they might forgive me for just this gesture alone. I shouldn't have been so naive. The emotions I've been holding back appeared in the form of tears and kept rolling down my cheeks. I hear getting your fingernails pulled out is like some of the worst pain you can feel. I think I heard that somewhere, I don't know. Doesn't sound pleasant. It was like my feelings were being squeezed out to the very last strip. Something even more horrifying followed this. It was the silence that awaited my next action.
どうするの?
One of the subordinates pointed to the handle and told me to either squeeze it or hit it. He recommended that the latter would be easier to make it quick. Nobody said anything after that. There was nothing to hear but the sound of my sweat dripping on the floor. Ugh. There's a ton of nerve endings in them because of the way they're attached to your fingers, yeah. Yep, this ain't gonna be pleasant. Both the hag and Mion, they were also anticipating it. I could refuse, but that meant I wouldn't be paying up. This punishment exists to offer payment in exchange for the safety of those who helped me. If I refused, they would suffer. This could be a way of atoning, Shion, for the stupid shit you did. Fucking suffer this pain to save the people who helped you. Fucking for all the stupid shit you said to Satoko, man. Kid to her. So even though the nails themselves don't have nerves, the endings in them are enough to make you scream your voice out. Fuck. I started breathing heavily. I knew that if I did this, the others would go free. This was, if you thought about it, quite a good deal. If it weren't me, it wouldn't be just 3 fingernails. If it were Kasai, he'd have to sacrifice his little finger or something even worse. I knew that. It was my selfish desire to get away from that school. Why did Kasai have to suffer because of that? I knew that. Why did Uncle Yoshiro have to suffer because he provided me with a job? I knew that the hag and the other relatives still hated the Hojos. So I didn't know what they'd do to Satoshi-kun if I didn't do this. Would they bring Satoshi-kun here and tell him to do the same? Would they tell him to remove his fingernails in exchange for forgiving me? He'd do it. He'd sacrifice himself with no hesitation in order to save the others. My sweat dipped on the table through my nose. I'd do it. Yes. It's only 3 fingernails. It might hurt a lot, but I wouldn't die. The fingernails would grow back. It wouldn't even leave a huge scar. I shouldn't be afraid. The punishment was minimal because it was me. If I refused to do this, the others would be punished much more severely. I couldn't let that happen to Kasai, Uncle Yoshiro, or Satoshi-kun. Well, thank you for the lurk, at least. I was the only one who would be punished. So I just needed to bear the pain. I wasn't just breathing heavily anymore. I was also moaning faintly. Ew. Ready to scream at any moment. Uh-oh. F in the chat for the bot. Nobody's gonna become famous now. That's right. Make it quick. This wasn't torture, so I didn't have to prolong the moan of pain. I should do it in one swift blow. That way, my pain and fear would be minimized. I raised my right arm. Quickly. Pain would be lessened if I did it in one stroke. It'd be much more painful if I messed up. I held my breath. I felt as if my body was frozen. I was choking. Chills crept up my spine. Don't be afraid, Shion. Fingernails are just a tiny fraction of the whole body. Just 1 square centimeter. I could do this. I could bear it. I smacked my right hand onto the handle of the device. Ooh. I sensed the noise through my body instead of through my ears. At the same time, I felt the pain I'd never experienced before. A moment later, the pain pulsated with my heartbeat. I clenched my teeth. I felt like my teeth were cracking. I tightly shut my eyes until my eyeballs got squeezed up. The pain wouldn't fade. Rather, it swelled with my blood pressure. I felt as though I was bloating like a balloon. Timidly, I opened my eyes. I found that my little finger wasn't really drenched in blood. It was bleeding, but not much. Certainly not enough to explain how much it hurt. My fingernail was open, just like the hood of a car. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was overwhelming. It occurred to me that I'd only done one of the three. Did I have to repeat this 2 more times? Did I have to remove the nails from my ring and middle finger as well? I looked at the hag and Mion, begging for mercy. But they were just silently staring at me, as if the show had only just begun. I saw no hint of mercy in their eyes. Welcome back, Elise. Yeah. Getting kind of brutal here. Saw no hint of mercy in their eyes. They wouldn't be changing their minds. Since they said 3, it had to be 3. They wouldn't forgive me until I removed 2 more fingernails.
ミオ、これで許して。
So tough now, are you, Shion?
これ、ほら、私の顔を見ればわかるよね。本当にさ、痛くて。
Mion answered, still wearing a cold look.
シオン、もう無理。
She didn't mean that it was sufficient. What she meant is that the others would have to take the remaining punishment if I didn't. I knew that. I really did know.
やれるよ、こんなの全然楽勝だって。この冷血動画。こんなの怖くない。こんなの痛くない。
I quickly moved the metal beak and set it on my ring finger. Smacked it with no hesitation. Instead of making it quick, maybe I was just rushing out of fear. I'd messed up. The torture tune had clipped the tip of my fingernail. The pain, however, was equal. I couldn't believe I'd only chipped it. Did I have to do it again? Did I have to continue removing the nail from my ring finger? That much pain again? Again?
シオン、
やだ。
I couldn't bear it anymore. I started crying shamelessly.
もうやだやだ。もう無理なの。本当に痛いよ。
こんなの怖くない。こんなの痛くない。
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。謝りますから許してください。ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
Where did you show... Did you show mercy to Satoko when she was saying she was sorry? Asking you to stop. You didn't, Shion. They didn't seem to hear my voice. I felt as though there was an invisible barrier between us. They showed no mercy. They were just here to witness this ritual. But rather than sympathetic, they looked amazed by my screwed-up. Mion walked up to me and whispered in my crying face.
シオン、あとちょっとだから頑張って。
Mion shook her head and signaled the subordinates. They came from behind me. They covered my head with something like a knit cap. It was a blindfold. One of them pinned me in a Nelson hold, restricting my movement. I couldn't overpower the guy behind me. Then, I felt something strange on my left hand. The other guy was doing something with the torture tool. He put the metal beak between my ring finger and its fingernail. hand was fixed in restraint, so I couldn't put up much protest anyway. But even the left hand was pressed down by its rough palms until it hurt, robbing it of the freedom to even tremble. I had no hesitation. Oof. It was made very clear to me how merciless people could be. Robbed of my vision, all I could do was clench my teeth against the pain assailing me. If there was anything I was thankful for, it was that he was well practiced and had ripped off both of my fingernails cleanly. Pain and screaming might induce narcotic chemicals in the brain. While screaming, I started losing consciousness. Oof. Oof. I woke up. My memories were missing. I couldn't remember how I got back to my room. I held my head with both hands. My left hand was bandaged. The fingers that had their nails removed had swollen like hot dogs. Oh god. I'd paid with those 2 fingernails for what I did. The hag had said something about after the punishment, but I didn't remember any of it. I was taken to the hospital in Okinomiya. The car shook on the way, adding extra pain on top of what I already felt. Somebody gave me some aspirin. They worked just like they said on TV, but they didn't last more than 10 minutes. I'd swallowed the pills without water. I was spacing out in the waiting lounge. Kasai showed up. Probably came to check if I was alright. I obviously wasn't. He must have understood that from my bandaged left arm, dangling from my shoulder. Kasai, on the other hand, looked just fine. At least on the outside. I was relieved that my sacrifice had meant something. Kasai didn't say anything. I couldn't tell if he wanted to tell me something or not because he looked so emotionless.
Kasai?
なんでしょ
He paused shortly before answering. I could tell he was upset. I didn't regret revealing my true identity in order to protect Satoshi-kun. But I had wanted Kasai or Uncle Yoshiro to be hurt. I hadn't wanted Kasai or Uncle Yoshiro to be hurt. I had been contradicting myself.
ヨシロおじさんはどうなったか知ってます？
ういいえ。したたかな方です。ご無事と思います。後で謝られた方がいいでしょう。
うん。
I wanted to ask him about Satoshi-kun too. I wondered if he was captured or harassed by the Sotozaki family because of me. But I was hesitant to ask Kasai. After all, I'd chosen Satoshi-kun over them. Satoshi-kun alright? I hoped he wouldn't get caught or incarcerated somewhere. I paid the hospital bill and Kasai gave me a ride home. I finally realized that somebody was knocking on my door.
シオンさん、横になり続けるのも、やはり体に毒です。
It was Kasai. Put some dishes on the table and we started nibbling at them.
気分は落ち着かれましたか？
落ち着いたというか、はあ。
この数日間はずっと伏せっていたんですか？食事はされていましたか？
Kasai probably wishes she wouldn't have taken the punishment for him. Yeah, Kasai's that kind of guy. He's the type to look after.
冷蔵庫の中の残り物を適当に食べてました。あとは天井を見てるか眠っているかのどっちか。
It had been 3 days. I'd just been lying down since then. I woke up every now and then in my shallow sleep, but I didn't feel like getting up or thinking. I felt like I'd just been floating the whole time. My appetite was gone, but it came back with the smell of food Kasai brought. I wasn't able to think of anything to talk to Kasai about, so I just ate silently.
昨日、ミオンさんから連絡がありました。
Oh heck. Burbs! How you doing, buddy? Thanks for the raid, man. Welcome, Raiders. I am the Ice Emperor Penguinato. Welcome to Glacierland and don't freeze. How are y'all doing today? How was your stream, Burbs? Right now I'm just reading through Higurashi chapter 5. And it's a good thing you're coming now as opposed to a little earlier. We just got past a really ridiculous scene. We just got past a particularly rough torture scene, so I'm really glad you didn't come earlier. God, that would have been terrible to get rated then.
シオンさんの部屋に何度か電話したけど、出なかったからということで。
Made some progress in Death's Door, and geez, some parts of the game are hard. Oh wow, the one with the crow, right? That you were playing? That kind of looks like a... Some of the character designs look like a Miyazaki film, kind of, huh? Or maybe it's just me, I don't know. Oh man. So it gets pretty tough, huh? Just towards the end, or what? Ooh, I don't know if a penguin like me can handle that. Little penguin like me. Oof. The moment I heard Mion's name, I felt my wounds throb. But I didn't stop Kasai or continued.
園崎本家としては、シオンさんがご自分でけじめをつけられたので、あの学園には退学届が出されます。シオンさんは沖宮の学校に編入になるそうです。
園崎シオンの人権が認められたってことか。
そうですね。今後は園崎シオンとして生活してくださって構わないそうです。
I'm in the third and last dungeon. There's only 3 dungeons? Oh heck. Oh, wait, was it a roguelike? I forget if Death's Door was roguelike, kinda. Yeah.
ですが、みだりにひなみ沢には近づかないこと、園崎ミオンを語らないこと、人前にみだりに姿を現さないこと、他にも細々とありますが、つまるところ。
They're pretty long dungeons with bosses at the end? How long are the dungeons? Oh, okay, it's roguelike. Okay. Roguelite. Man, I haven't played a roguelike in a while, actually. Fuck, what was the last one I played? I think it was 20XX, the Mega Man roguelike.
存在を認めてやるから、本家に目立つようなことは二度とするなってわけか。
そういうことになります。もちろん永続的なわけじゃありません。ほとぼりが冷めるまで当分ということです。具体的にいつまでという期限があるわけではありませんが、今年いっぱいくらいはこれまで通り目立たない生活を送られた方がよろしいかと思います。
私は沖宮でひっそり暮らすだけで十分です。もともとこれまでだってそうして暮らしてきたわけだし。
So I put on a sad smile. I smiled back at him likewise. Not sure if it's after the 3rd dungeon will be at the end of the game or what. Interesting. How many times did you have to start over? Because the conversation ended, I should ask him what I wanted to know. Oh heck. Fukudan! Welcome, welcome, raiders! Welcome! Thank you for the raid! How was your stream, Fukudan? And welcome, raiders. I'm the Ice Emperor Penguinato, and welcome to my little slice of heaven, Glacierland. Enjoy the rides and don't freeze! I like to play spooky games and whatever else, platformers, Metroidvanias, whatever catches my drift. Well, I spent 2 hours out of a 3-hour stream, just extended before combat puzzles and time. Oh dang. How was your stream, Fukudan? What were you playing? Yeah, it was a very lovely stream we've had today. There was a lot of torture going on just a little bit ago, but you know. I don't know if you're familiar with this game, Fukudan, but it gets pretty violent and dark. A bunch of avarice segments get hectic because it just throws a bunch of me enemies at you. Oh, okay. What are you playing, Fukudan? What are you up to? Tell me all about it, my friend. Right now I'm playing through Higurashi. If anybody's familiar with that, it's the popular horror anime visual novel. God, oh god, does it get brutal at some parts. Once the conversation ended, I should ask him what I wanted to know.
サトシ君はどうなったの？
I wish that Kasai would assure me of his safety right away. But he didn't answer like that.
葛西、サトシ君は無事なの？
シオンさん。
Kasai put his chopsticks down.
本家から北条聡君のことは忘れろとことづかっています。
I'm gonna call it an 8 because I've got work tomorrow. Have fun with your lolly torture. Oh, it's not like that. I wouldn't say it's lolly torture, but thanks, Burbs. Have a good night, man. Thanks for the raid, buddy. I think my frames are reaching their breaking point. Your frames? You mean your glasses, Elise?
何それ？
シオンさん、あなたと喧嘩はしたくないんで、これ以上この話はしたくありません。本家からの言葉を伝えるのみにとどめさせてもらいます。
何？その話をしたくないってのは。葛西
Kasai pretended as though he didn't hear me and started eating again. Now the lollies don't get tortured, just abused and traumatized and killed, pretty much. Oh, I didn't know you wear glasses, Elise. Or at least, maybe you told me and I forgot, I don't know. I'd never seen him get so stubborn like this. The Sonozaki family had been using the Hojo family as a scapegoat. Yeah, yep. They must have concluded that a Sonozaki shouldn't be in love with the Hojo. Like Romeo and Juliet. Like anime Romeo and Juliet here. I didn't like that. Satoko is a friend of mine. Mion's at school. Would it be okay if Satoshi-kun and I were the same gender? Anyway, if I did something conspicuous again, they might do something to him for real. Just like they forced me to remove my own fingernails. Yeah, that happened just now. The Sonozaki family wouldn't hesitate. They'd torture him if need be. Maybe, if I really loved him, I should stay away. Satoshi-kun won't show up in Okinomiya. Unless he rejoins the Hinamizawa fighters. I'd have to pretend to be Mion if I wanted to go to Hinamizawa. But I didn't think she'd cooperate with me. That and the family doesn't want you doing that anymore, dude. Yo, the scratch shield on my lenses wore down recently. And they're scratched now, suffering. Oh, I hate that. Fuck, I need to get new glasses myself, but I'm poor. The health insurance be like, we don't give you any vision benefits, fuck you. Fucking bullshit health insurance. Even if she did, it'd be some time down the road. Even if they told me not to see him. I already had no means of doing that again. Oh, wait. Mion gave me his number a little while ago. I could call him. Maybe ask to meet with him secretly. But if I got caught again, they wouldn't cut me any slack. Did I risk it? What the hell did I even want from Satoshi-kun?
葛西、ちょっと一人になりたい。
Kasai started putting away his food in a rush, assuming that I wanted him to leave.
あ、いいの。葛西はのんびり食べてて。私がちょっと一人で散歩がしたいだけなの。
私もシオンさんと一緒に出ないと、この部屋に鍵がかけられません。
Kasai put away his meal and followed me out.
あ、先に断っとくけど、別にサトシ君に会いに行くわけじゃないからね。
わかりました。
I turned around and started walking. My destination was Rather pathetic. It was the toy store that sold the giant teddy bear. I couldn't deny that I was somehow expecting Satoshi-kun to pass by there. I couldn't stop myself from looking at the faces of passerbys who resembled him. Insurance not covering vision is the stupidest shit. How do they expect you to do a job if you can't see? What are they taking the insurance off you pay for? I just thought, not everybody needs glasses, so they're like, oh, we could just skip on that. Dude, fuck the guys who need glasses. Fuck them. Same shit with dental insurance, man. I haven't had dental insurance till this job I've gotten started offering it. I never had dental insurance before then. It fucking sucks. Yeah, dental's not important. Fuck that. Don't give them insurance. I couldn't stop myself from looking at the faces of passerbys who resembled them. I looked into the store's window. The teddy bear was gone.
サトシ君、おめでとう。変えたんだね。
His evil aunt had died and his wicked uncle was living with his mistress. Satoshi-kun succeeded in fulfilling his duty as a big brother by buying his little sister that huge teddy bear. There was nobody left to hurt him. He was free from his tiresome efforts. He was completely free from pain. Over time, he'd retrieve his smile, and he'd go back to being the Satoshi-kun I loved. But I wouldn't be there with him. I heard a car honking. I didn't think it was honking at me at first, but it was so persistent that I had to look up. The person waving at me from their car was Irie. He was waving at me all carefree, oblivious to my feelings.
園崎さん、ご無沙汰していますね。あ、ひょっとしてサトシ君と待ち合わせでしたか？
いえ、そういうわけじゃないです。
そのおもちゃ屋さんのショーウィンドウはサトシ君もよく覗いていましたからね。それでてっきりサトシ君との待ち合わせか何かかなって思っちゃいまして。
いえ、たまたまここを通りかかっただけです。変えたみたいですね、サトシ君。
Irie seemed to know about the teddy bear as well. Smiled upon seeing its empty display case.
昨日がサトコちゃんの誕生日でした。きっとあのぬいぐるみでそれをお祝いできたと思います。
じゃあもうサトシ君は無茶なアルバイトに精を出さなくてもいいわけですね。
そうですね。
サトシ君ってひなみざわファイターズ退部届とか出しちゃったんですか？
そんなもの出てたんですか？私は受け取ってませんよ。マネージャーの園崎さんは？
受け取ってないです。
誰も退部届を受け取ってないなら、しばらくして生活が落ち着いたらまた戻ってきてくれるんじゃないかなって思ってます。
Oh fuck. Oh fuck, Rika became a car. 75% of adults have some kind of vision correction. Really? I didn't know it was that much. Shit.
でもその時に園崎さんがいなかったらきっと悲しむだろうな。
Irie teased me. He's a grown-up after all. He must have been trying to sound optimistic because he knew I was feeling a bit down.
園崎さんも落ち着いたらいつでもチームに帰ってきてください。あなたがいないとやっぱり寂しいですよ。園崎さんが帰ってきてくれたらぜひ女子マネージャーの制服をメイドさんな格好にしようと思ってまして。
I burst into laughter. Irie sure hadn't changed. He never will,
あ、
sadly.
そうだ。もう名乗ってもいいんだった。監督、今まで騙しててすみません。私、ミオンじゃないんです。シオンっていう双子の妹なんです。訳ありで、今までずっとミオンのふりしてきました。
双子の妹さんですか？
What? He was totally taken aback. I burst into laughter again.
そうです。園崎シオンと言います。園崎本家に嫌われてるんで、あまり堂々と暮らせる立場じゃないんですけどね。
知らなかったですよ。まさかミオンさんに 双子の妹さんがいたなんて。
What the fuck?
そりゃ全く同感です。
What the fuck, Oishi? Where the fuck did you just come from, dude? Fucking Jack in the Box popped out of nowhere. What the fuck? Suddenly, a loud voice interrupted us. The voice sounded mean and greasy, unlike Hide's. It was him, Oishi.
入江先生もこんにちは。先日は遅くまでありがとうございました。
いえ、何もお役に立てませんで、申し訳ないです。
They were just going through the motions. It was obvious that they hated each other. Hide whispered to me.
私はもうここを離れますが、一緒に車に乗りますか？お家まで送りますよ。
Hide figured that Oishi was after me, so he was giving me a chance to slip away. Looking at Oishi's face, it was clear that his focus was on me, not Hide. He probably intended to interrogate me until my testimony broke. I was sure I could talk my way out of it, but it'd just be a waste of time.
そうですね。じゃあ監督、そろそろ行きましょうか。
ありゃ？お二人でどちらかにお出かけの途中でしたか？
ええ、チームの夕涼み会用に景品を探しているところだったんです。他にも行くお店がたくさんありますので、この辺で私たちは失礼します。
He's like, are you kidnapping that girl, sir? Yeah, 64 of that 75 is glasses wearers, whether nearsighted or not, or just for reading. Damn. Fuck. What the hell is health insurance doing not fucking providing that shit? Fuck. Hide bowed. I followed suit. I had to admire how good he was at lying. He was a grown-up after all. Oishi seemed to know it was a lie. But he didn't have a warrant, so he couldn't stop us, so I moved to get into Hide's car.
お怪我は大丈夫なんですか？園崎しおんさん。
I gasped when I heard that. My left hand was bandaged. It was unsightly, so I kept it in my pocket. There was no way Oishi could have been able to see it. He knew somehow.
可能さえしなきゃきれいに治りますよ。私も子供の頃は何度か爪を剥いじゃったことがありましたがね。ほら、きれいなもんでしょ
う。Look at my beautiful nails. Fucking Oishi.
男の爪が綺麗でも気色悪いだけです。
What the fuck, Shion? Men's fingernails can look beautiful too. What the fuck? You're such a fucking bitch, Shion. Jesus. Oishi scratched his head and chuckled. He's supposed to be one of those best cops at the Okimiya PD, as he knows about all the underground activities in the region. He must have heard about my payment from somewhere. Still, that happened in the secret basement of the Sonozaki main house. I couldn't underestimate this guy's sources.
お見舞い、感謝感激です。じゃあ、もう行きますね。失礼します。
園崎しおんさん、私とコーヒーでも飲みに行きません？
What? Oishi, you're...
はぁ？
You're pushing it, buddy.
何それ？私を口説いてんですか？
そういうことでもいいですよ。
Oishi, she's like 15, bro. What are you doing, man?
遠慮します。一日は有限。わざわざ退屈なことに費やすなんて馬鹿げてますから。
Oof. Oof.
もう参ったな。じゃあこうしましょう。私とのおしゃべりが退屈になったらいつでも途中で帰っていいです。引き止めません？そういう約束でどうです？
あんたが喋るのは勝手ですが、私は喋りませんよ。それをおしゃべりと呼べるかは怪しいですが。
ねえ、それで結構です。シオンさんは聞き役で結構です。私が勝手に一方的に喋るだけ。あなたはコーヒーでも飲みながら、中年親父の独り言を聞き流してくださればそれで結構です。
He was being strangely persistent. It didn't look like he was trying to poke a hole in my statement. What would he even talk about? I got a bit curious, even though I was still skeptical.
監督、 すみません。私、ちょっと大石のおじさまとデートに行こうと思います。
ミオ、じゃない。シオンさん
Leaving one fucking child enjoyer for another. I winked at him and told him not to worry. Ide didn't insist. He got in his car and he drove off. Oishi backed his car up so I could get in. I hopped in the back seat since I didn't want to sit next to him. That's
本当
funny.
に喫茶店に行くの？
あなたの親類の目がない喫茶店があるなら紹介してもらえると助かるんですがね。
チェ。それなら勝手に連行でも何でもすればいい。
Oishi carefully checked for oncoming traffic and then started driving. Oishi took me to the police station, as I thought he might. If he had taken me to a nice cafe, he would have scored some points. But whatever.
書の方が都合がいいと思ったから書にしただけです。
Nails can be really painful when they regrow, but some people lose them and don't feel pain in them growing back. Can't they grow like crooked and shit? There are a lot of risks with that.
私の話が退屈になったら帰っていいという約束はもちろん守りますから安心してください。
私を退屈させないように頑張ってくださいな。署内には腕組んで入ってあげましょうか、おじさま。
Oishi chuckled and got out of the car. He escorted me inside the station. I thought he'd take me to an interrogation room, but instead he took me to an office of the investigation division. Officers in both suits and uniforms are working at their desks, answering phones. There was a desk with a plate that said Section Manager, and nearby there were couches and a table. Oishi told me to sit on the couch and started making some instant coffee. I'd never been to this part of the police station. I looked around in curiosity.
まさか取調室でカツ丼でも食わされると思いました？
Oishi brought over a tray with coffee cups on it.
想像してたより待遇が良くて驚いてます。おしらすに直で正座くらいは覚悟してたのに。
What the fuck, Shion?
そういうのは私の趣味じゃないな。
This is getting fucking weird.
で、おしゃべりを聞かせてくれるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
じゃあ最初からいきなり単刀直入に。シオンさんって北条聡さんのこと好き？
I'll be eating noodles spicy. Uh-oh. Careful, Lily. Don't catch on fire. Jesus.
はあ？速攻退屈なんで即帰りますよ。
じゃあ今のはなしということで。
Did you say before that? Okay. Oishi must have known why I had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What he was really saying was what he knew already.
サトシ君の事件当日のアリバイなら先日熊谷刑事さんに全部お話ししたつもりです。
もちろん私も熊谷君の調書は読んでます。あなたがサトシ君と一緒にいたことは知ってます。
何度聞かれたって同じ話しかしませんよ私。しつこく反復して聞いたらそのうちにボロを出すとか考えてるなら大甘もいいとこ。
まさかそんなこと考えてません。あなたは頭のいい人です。そんな手に引っかかるなんて思っちゃいません。
ならどういう手を考えてるやら。どちらにせよ私からサトシ君のことを何か聞き出そうとしてもそれは無駄なことです。先日お話しした以上のことは何もありません。ああ残念。やっぱり退屈な話でしたね。私帰らせてもらいます。そういう約束でしたからね。失礼します。
I got off of the couch.
シオンさん、確かに私はあなたからサトシさんのアリバイを聞こうと思っていました。それは認めますよ。
なら決まりです。やっぱり退屈でした。帰ります。
I turned around and started walking. Oishi didn't get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder.
でもね、シオンさん。私が聞きたいのはサトシさんの事件当日のアリバイじゃない。昨日のアリバイなんです。
昨日？なんで昨日のアリバイなんかが聞かれるんですか？昨日のサトシ君のアリバイがおばさんが殺された事件とどう関係があるってんです？
昨日 サトシ君が出かけたまま失踪されたからです。
Uh-oh. What?
サトシ君が失踪されたことはご存知なかった？
I couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Oishi's question anyway.
どういうことですか？失踪って何？
やっぱり座ったらどうです？
サトシ君が失踪したって何？
一つ確実に分かっていることは、彼が3時前に沖宮の郵便局で貯金を全額下ろしているということだけです。その後の足取りはつかめません。
I knew why he withdrew that money. He wanted to buy Satoko's birthday present. Yes, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday.
これは私の想像ですよ。彼はひょっとしてそのお金でどっか遠くに蒸発したんじゃないかなって。
逃走資金だってんですか？バッカバカしい。あのお金はね、サトコの誕生日プレゼントを買うためにサトシ君が貯めていたんです。それであのおもちゃ屋にあったでかくて高いぬいぐるみを買ったんです。逃走に使うお金になんかなるわけないです。
確かにあのおもちゃ屋から一番高いぬいぐるみが売れていました。でもね、それをサトシ君が買った確証が取れないんです。
店の人に聞けばそんなのわかりますって。私とサトシ君で買う予約までしてるんですから。
I had a bad feeling. That old man who was watching that store was sleeping when we were there. He looked very senile. Maybe he was watching the store on that day, and even though Satoshi-kun bought the teddy bear, he didn't remember. Oishi put on a wry smile. It looked like he'd already tried to question that old man.
とにかくあれを買ったのはサトシ君なんです。サトシ君はぬいぐるみの金額ギリギリしかお金がなかったはずだから、ぬいぐるみ代を支払ってさらに逃亡資金を用意できたなんて思えません。めちゃめちゃもいいとこです。
いいですよ。じゃあサトシ君がぬいぐるみを買ったことでもいいです。じゃあそのぬいぐるみを持ってどうして帰らなかったんですか？
At that point, I felt as though my heart turned to ice. Satoshi could have been working hard to buy that teddy bear even though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. After all that, he finally managed to buy it. It's unthinkable that somebody else just showed up and bought that same teddy bear. The teddy bear just gone missing because The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi-kun bought it. Nobody else. But if so, Satoshi-kun shouldn't have given it to Satoko. Should have given it to Satoko. Bleh. But, though he bought a present for her, he didn't come home? He didn't come home? It wasn't possible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. I wouldn't think of running away after buying that teddy bear. Even though Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police. He'd never leave without giving Satoko her present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi who bought that teddy bear. I can say that with 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? That teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit in the basket of a bicycle. He must have bought some straps tied to his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away on a wobbly bicycle like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying that teddy bear from the store after withdrawing all that money. Nothing could have happened when he was going between the ATM and the toy store. It was impossible. Nobody else could possibly have bought that teddy bear. Never. That teddy bear had been sitting in the showcase up until that day. Everybody could see it there when we passed by. But nobody wanted it. It's impossible that it could have been somebody else. Possible, just unlikely, I guess? There should be no question that he went to the toy store after he withdrew the money. What about the route between the toy store and his home? There shouldn't be any question there either. He shouldn't be able to do anything with that huge toy. He shouldn't even have thought of making a stop on the way. So he must have headed home, right after he bought the teddy bear. But nobody saw him after that. It was simple then. Toshi-kun went missing on his way home from the toy store. He went missing? What did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He's not that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't bear the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea that the police were going to arrest him soon, regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think that he should disappear until things cooled down, rather than get arrested? That was definitely, absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he came to the conclusion on his way home from the toy store. Even if he did, he would have waited until he gave Satoko her birthday present. Satoshi-kun loved Satoko. He should have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her. So he'd never disappear before going home. I felt as though the ice was cutting through my heart, expanding the frost. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by somebody else's will.
サトシ君が消された。バカバカしいです。やっぱり退屈な話ですよ、おじさま。
I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart if I laughed loud enough. I kept laughing until it happened. I kept laughing and laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. I finished laughing and took a sip of lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread all throughout my guts. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup.
シオンさん、ちょっと口を挟まずに聞いててほしいんです。これから私がちょいと想像した話を申し上げます。全部でっち上げです。だからきっとシオンさんはあまりのいい加減な内容に吹き出しちゃいそうになるかもしれません。それでも最後まで黙って聞いていてほしいんです。約束してもらえます？
いや、約束なんて何でもするから。早く言いなさいよ。
I was feeling far too cold. My teeth were chattering. I felt as though my brain had frozen as well. I lost my ability to think. I could do anything by myself. I could only do as Oishi told me. What he was going to tell me might be the worst possible theory. But I had to listen to it.
死んだおばがサトシ君とサトコさんをいじめていたことはよーく聞いています。中でもサトコさんを執拗にいじめていたこともね。その中でサトシ君が妹をかばうためにおばに殺意を募らせていったとしても、私は人として自然な流れだと思います。
I had to deny that Satoshi-kun murdered her. But what Oishi was saying was true. I couldn't deny his hypothesis right away. I just kept silent.
ここからは空想ですよ。絶対に怒らないでください。口を挟むのもなし。いいですね。
わかってるから早く続けなさいよ。
北条聡はおば殺しを計画し実行した。ねえ、もちろん証拠なんてありませんよ。全部私の妄想です。
わかってるって。あんたの妄想なのは百も承知。だから早く続けて。
ここで話は変わります。シオンさん、あなたはサトシ君との交際を禁じられたんですよね。もう忘れろ。二度と関わるなと念を押されたんですよね。それは実は不仲な両家の関係を意味嫌ったからでなく、殺人犯と園崎家の令嬢が恋仲であることに問題があったんじゃないかと思ったんです。
That is actually possible. After all, when I was pretending to be Mion, I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun. Before anyone knew it was Shion who was spending time with him. I could have been accused when I was helping out the Hinamizawa fighters if the relationship between the Hojos and the Sonozakis was the problem. It wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt if it happened in Hinamizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like that. I was in love with the murderer. They decided to step in.
あと あなた諦めが悪いことでも知られてるんじゃないですか。つまり園崎本家にサトシ君との縁を切れと脅されて爪を剥がされてもサトシ君との縁を切りかねていましたよね。
I couldn't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Hinamizawa, so my ties to Satoshi-kun were essentially cut, true. But I still knew Satoshi-kun's phone number, and I expected him to rejoin the Hinamizawa fighters eventually.
園崎本家はサトシ君とあなたの縁はちょっと脅しただけじゃ絶対に切れないと分かっていたと思います。あなたをいくら脅してもどうにもならない。じゃあもう一人の方をどうにかするしかないですよね。
どうにかって何？どうにかって何よ？何？
If threatening me was useless then, they'd do something about Satoshi-kun. What would they have done? If they pulled something, then wouldn't that interrupt his path from the toy store to home? Toy store to home. Toy store to X to home. What's X? What is X? X marks the spot where his path was interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi-kun have made it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? What's X? X? I ran out of air, became dizzy, and then collapsed. The floor felt cold. I felt no pain. I had fallen to the floor like a plastic doll. Oishi and some others rushed over to me and helped me up.
落ち着いてシオンさん。サトシ君が殺されたとはまだ限りません。
You're not certain he was killed? What the fuck are you talking about? Don't you know about the torture room where they forced me to rip off my fingernails? Don't you know where there are prison cells and a well for disposing of corpses in the back? If the Sonozaki family wants to eliminate somebody, they definitely kill them in that torture room and dump the body down there. You're not certain? Are you dumb? Is your brain made of tofu? If we were in the hag's position, I'd kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. I would kill him, then the hag would definitely kill him.
シオンさん、落ち着いて。これはまだ未確認情報ですが、名古屋駅で家出人風の若者を見たという情報が入っています。東京行きの新幹線に乗ったそうです。服装の特徴などが一致しませんでしたが、警察の追跡等を意識して衣替えをしている可能性もあります。服装が違うからサトシ君でないとは言い切れませんよ。
生きてるの？サトシ君。
ここからもまた私の想像になりますがね。あなたの双子のお姉さんのミヨンさん、次期当主ということで園崎お涼の身近にいますよね。園崎お涼はおそらく最初はサトシ君をこっそり殺してしまおうと提案したと思います。
Okay.
それをあなたのお姉さんが止めたんじゃないかと思うんです。
Young? That was possible. She could have tried to calm things down out of pity for me. That idiot was always so indecisive. She should have been clear if she wanted to save him or not. But she probably seemed vague about that. She must have persuaded the hag to reduce the punishment to banishment instead of death, just to avoid feeling guilty.
おそらく園崎本家はサトシ君と接触したでしょう。今回の事件はかばいきれない。だから自分の身は自分で守るためにどこかへ姿を隠せと忠告したはずです。いや、強要したと言った方が似合うでしょうね。
サトシ君は絶対拒否すると思います。だってあのサトシ君が妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられるわけがない。
私もそう思います。確かサトシ君は園崎美音さんの紹介でバイトをしてましたよね。だからサトシ君に逃走資金になるまとまったお金があることを知っていたと思います。
でもサトシ君はそのお金をぬいぐるみを買う以外には絶対に使わないはずです。
でしょうね。サトシ君は貯金を下ろしたら迷うことなくおもちゃ屋に向かうでしょう。でももしサトシ君がおもちゃ屋にたどり着くと もうぬいぐるみが売れてしまっていてなくなっていたら。
That would have been a very desolate situation. He'd been working hard. While his aunt abused him, he worked at many different jobs. The money was worth all that pain. He went to the toy store with that money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for the teddy bear as he'd always done. But it was gone. He would have gone into a panic right away, because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought the store was wrapping the gift for him, because he told them that he'd pick it up that day. He must have gone into the store joyously. I could guess exactly what happened next. My heart would tear up if I tried to imagine it anyway. Why didn't they have it? Even though he had it reserved? Did that old man understand the situation, or was he just zoning out? Maybe it would have been the same even if it wasn't that old man who was at the store at the time. If a bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed them the money, nobody could have rejected it. Toshi-kun must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, the teddy bear was gone. He probably never even considered that his dream might be taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on the telephone poles every now and then. It was the day he wanted Satoko to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present she wanted the most. He probably didn't think of getting another gift, because it was unimaginable that he could get that teddy bear. He might have imagined how Satoko would react when she found out he had no present for her. He must have looked unbelievably sad and empty. The money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Toshiko never cried, even at his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry? It was always Satoko who was crying. So Satoshi-kun never learned how to cry, and he gave up that way. He grew up that way. Did you know? People shed sadness from their hearts with tears. Satoshi-kun wasn't even allowed to do that. Even though his heart was filled with sorrow, he couldn't let it out.
妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられないと言いましたね。でももしも園崎本家が残った聡子さんの面倒は見るって言ってあったとしたらどう思います？
After Satoshi-kun found out that the teddy bear was gone, all he had left were some crumbled bills. Family told him it was just a matter of time before the police got to him. They told him to run away. They said they'd take care of Satoko. Toshi-kun didn't feel like seeing his sister. He wandered and found himself at Okinomiya Station. He must have been apologizing to Satoko so many times in his mind. He swore to come back someday. He headed to Nagoya, and then to Tokyo. But that meant he's alive. He's alive! I should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again.
そうしてずっと遠方に隠れ家か受け入れ先を用意してくれたんじゃないかと思います。サトシ君はそこを目指したのでしょう。
じゃあ無事なんだ。いつか帰ってくるんですよね。
Oh, she looked up at the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer me. On June 24th, 1982, Satoshi Hojo went missing. There was a possibility that he ran away, as he knew that was the prime suspect of the murder that happened on the 20th of the same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him was seen at Nagoya Station embarking on a train headed to Tokyo. But the truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. As a matter of fact, no one even knows if he's still alive. Yeah. Maybe they killed him after he fled. Page 34 and page 42. The information that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo hasn't been verified. It's stated as follows. A young man came to the lost and found window, looking for his wallet. The station employee asked him to write down the name on the form. The young man started writing Hojo as his name, but he stopped in the middle, crumbled the form, and wrote a totally different name on another form. Another station employee witnessed a similar-looking man rushing into the train heading to Tokyo. The employee from the Lost and Found and the employee who was on the platform talked about the suspicious young man in the locker room. That was all. The wallet of the man named Hojo was never reported as found and lost to the Lost and Found office. Interesting. At first I thought Oishi's theory that the Sonozaki family banished Satoshi-kun from Honimazawa and looked after Satoko in return was bogus. But thinking about it now, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. After all, Satoko Hojo started living with Rika Furude after Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Rika Furude isn't just a normal regular girl. She was the head of the Furude family, one of the three families. The head of the Kimiyoshi family is Rika Furude's guardian. Sonozaki family probably couldn't step in due to have been officially opposed to the Hojo family. But Satoko Hojo is in the custody of the three families now. Even though the Hojo family was severely ostracized during the dam conflict, Satoko Hojo was now under protection. It seems as though only Satoko was exempted from blame. Why was she spared even though Satoshi-kun wasn't? Because he was too sus to the police. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. Seems like a good place to stop. Wait. Fuck, I should look up how many fucking chapters there are in this. Let me see. Just finished chapter 7, okay. Thank you, Elise. Thanks for hanging out with me, I appreciate it. Oh my god. We got some answers. You know a little bit more about what happened with Satoshi and his disappearance. We don't know if he's dead or not. We just gotta speculate, I guess. Fuck. Alright, now we gotta raid somebody. I say we raid Spooky Pengu. That dude's been pretty cool, hanging out with me. He's playing Kingdom Hearts 3 right now. Thank you, Kitten. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Fukuran and Burbs for the raids. Thank you, Legos, for the host. Thank you, Lily, for stopping by. Oh, that's cool, Kitten. Okay. Let's raid Spooky Pengu. Let me check out his stream real quick. He's a kindred spirit of mine. I like it, Elise. We'll use that. That'll be our message. Hold on, I want the stupid ad so I can get to his page. Okay, looks like he's still playing. He should be good to rate him. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming by. Stick around for the raid if you want some extra points, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I think. The hell did I have planned tomorrow? Oh yeah, Yume Nikki. That'll be fun. That'll be trippy as fuck. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a ton of fun. Yeah, we're gonna raid Spooky Pengu. He's playing Kingdom Hearts 3. And y'all have a good night. Love y'all. See you next time.